I don't wanna talk, I'm already gone. And I can't even listen. Called all my friends, yeah, they're on their way. And I don't need permission. No way! I'm the teacher, and you're the student. Pay attention and I'll show you how we do it. Yeah, get off your ass and dance. Forget about romance, and you can come here for the party. Come along, play my favorite song, the one that turns me on, and you can come here for the party. Why don't you take a seat? Don't even try to leave. Baby, you don't have to fight it. You can't pretend you're one of them, 'cause we all know you like it. I'm the teacher, and you're the student. Pay attention and I'll show you how we do it. Yeah, get off your ass and dance. Forget about romance, and you can come here for the party. Come along, play my favorite song, the one that turns me on, and you can come here for the party. I'm getting off tonight. I'm getting wrecked and starting fights. My mind's on overdrive. I don't wanna stop this ride. Yeah, get off your ass and dance. Forget about romance, and you can come here for the party. Come along, play my favorite song, the one that turns me on, and you can come here for the party. Yeah. Here for the party, here for the party.
That's all. We got one goddamn hit.
You can't say goddamn on the air.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Follow. Welcome to the show. Thank you for following the show on Instagram and TikTok at Cape Pod. And thank you for subscribing to the show on YouTube, where you can watch full episodes, and wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen every single Monday. And, well, welcome to the Midnight Livestream. We are outside of the world's most famous comic book store, Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. We're literally doing a show on the street. We're like busking. This is like, if podcast busking is a thing, that's what we're doing. Because I'm crazy and Mike's an enabler. Speaking of Mike, that's one of the people joining us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the manager of this joint, Mike Zapsik.
How you doing, folks? How the fuck did you talk me into doing
You
this?
volunteered it in Cape 221. We have the footage. You challenged me when I showed up tonight. And I'm like, you
Never-
He
It's
pitched
on the
it.
tape.
He pitched. You were there.
I know I was there, but what's really funny is like I love how you were just like, I'll pull up the footage, and I'm like, fuck.
We actually
You
yeah,
never
there's
make a
footage.
promise to somebody who can
Dead to
pull up the
rights.
footage later.
That's true.
And Cape has all the footage, as you know very,
yeah,
very
you do.
well.
Fuck.
We've
You
all
got
every
Jesus
bit of it.
Christ.
Every
Does
bit
Cape
of
have all
nonsense.
the
You,
footage?
you have like the shit that's going to get me sued in about
Probably, I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
Yeah.
yeah, the shit that we were talking about before this went on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Let's hope the mics weren't live during the countdown.
They weren't.
I'm just listen. I trust you.
Hey, he's a professional.
I don't trust the internet.
I don't trust those. Yeah.
Exactly. We don't know what Steve YouTube is up to these days. Anyway, aside from Mike Zapsik, also joining us, Ryan Taggart.
Hello. It's past my bedtime, but So let's go.
Yeah, he's hooked up to an espresso drip. It's underneath the table, though. It's like how type 1 diabetics have the insulin pump. Ryan's got an espresso pump right now, just for the sake of
am I doing?
Yeah, well, again, you were silly enough to agree to this.
I know. I agree.
I was like,
I agreed.
It's like if I could finally do something at the secret stash, like, yes, I'm in. Like, it's going to be at midnight.
Oh,
All
wait.
right.
I didn't have a contract for this.
basically
I'll see
how it
y'all
is.
later.
Like, all right, fine.
You should have got my cash out.
I mean-
Wait. I have an intro. All right, fine. You get an intro? Do you really? All right, well, that's Christian Cortez walking out of frame, everybody.
Wow. That was quick.
Yeah, right? It's like, all right, we had a walk-off again. We haven't had a walk-off
Yeah,
since
seriously.
2021.
Oh my God.
But here we are. Yeah, so...
Has it been that long? Oh my God.
Can you believe it?
Damn.
Yeah.
You've been on
Well,
your
that was
best
Somebody
behavior.
walked off the show.
Oh, well, Jack did. Funnily enough, Jack was tired. Do you remember we did
I do remember
we
that
did
day.
comics,
Yeah.
cartoons, and craft brew. Shout out to Joe and John. And we did their show first, and then we did Cape. And I asked in between, this was 182. I can't believe I remember that. Like we were saying before, my memory's actually improved. The fog's cleared away. Daily meditation. Anyway, we did their show and ran a little bit long, but not like insanely long, not like Cape long. We did like an hour and 10 because they're disciplined. And I said to Jack, like, you sure you want to stick around and do Cape? Because it's fine. Like, we're going to do like a half hour of bullshitting in between and then do the show proper, which is going to be an hour and a half on the light end. And he was like, no, I'll be fine. And 40 minutes in, he had to tap out.
You know what's crazy? I just realized this is probably one of the first times that we don't have the hour pre-show of material before we start. And I think this is why it's
2 hours.
Yeah, I think this is why it's also throwing me off a little bit.
Yeah.
Again,
Well,
enablers.
like getting down to business, you mean on time?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's why the live shows don't happen very often. Because
Right.
that would, we do like,
Because we have to be on time.
Yeah.
Discipline.
Start
Oh
on
my God.
time, end on time.
yeah, that's not really my brand.
No.
No.
Yeah,
But it's
don't we
fun.
know
And
it?
again, pot meat kettle. Hi, Mike.
Don't
Fucking
look at me.
enabler.
Hey, don't look at me. You can ask Christian. When I need to be disciplined, I can be disciplined.
Oh, like facts. But that's why I enjoy doing the show.
Yeah,
because
true.
it's like
yeah.
all bets are off when you're on Cape.
Oh shit, yeah.
Complete
That's why
lack
it's so
of
much
discipline.
fun.
And that's why I like throw bones out to you. It's like, hey, let's do midnight.
Let's do
Why
a midnight
not?
show on Broad Street in front of the stash. Do we need a permit? Why? Okay, Mike, whatever you say. Like,
Sure
so-
thing, buddy.
You don't think 9 p.m. live stream would have had the same ring to it?
Not exactly.
No, it
No.
doesn't really feel
Well,
the
you know what?
same.
That's the crazy thing. So, like, we did, and I was thinking about it. Like, this was 2 years ago, July of 2021. We did the live stream. It was the three of us and Jack at Bellworks, and we did. That was just kind of like a lark. Like, let's do a live stream at midnight. It'll be funny because he used to get up in the morning. You and I are night owls. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
And then I was like, we should do that again because I like to do one live stream per calendar year because, again, it requires being on time and actually,
I remember the first Cape live stream that we did at the older office.
holiday show.
Yeah, the
in
holiday
Eatontown. That
shows,
was a
yeah.
blast. That was a
good
lot of
time.
fun.
Oh, man.
Well, people have asked, and you know what's
Wait a minute, that was the first time we met.
No, you did the first show with myself, Ryan, Jack, and Andrew.
That's right.
That was
Oh my
the first time
god,
we
that
met
was
in
up on-
October.
that was on the 5th floor.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yes, that was in the
Yes.
last Shared University in town. I drove by that building on the way here, and there's still office lights on. I'm like, is this place condemned?
No, they're
probably.
slowly getting
Yeah.
back in.
Is that right?
And the owner of the building keeps wanting to hook up with me on like LinkedIn, and I'm like,
No.
no. No.
Kindly fuck off.
You're
Yeah,
like, homie,
seriously.
you had wires hanging out of the ceiling,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
water dripping down.
Yeah.
Between squirrels and birds.
Alongside these bare wires.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a huge
Do you know how
gnat
much I
problem.
It's
hated
a
working
death
there
trap.
in the last couple of months?
Because the
'Cause-
elevator didn't work and he was on the 5th floor.
There you go.
I mean, that alone is.
I love my job, but
toxic enough.
man, did that suck.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
rough. And we didn't actually the last time we were there was the Unadulterated show. I remember Ming was like, hey, you guys, you can do the show. I'll set you up with her. I called you because I needed some help with some of the
And
technical stuff.
all of us
Just
going up
leave the
those
door
stairs
open,
before
guys,
we were
'cause-
like,
and
okay,
we did-
I don't
we
go
want
to the
homeless
room.
people
Let's catch
sleeping
our
in
breath.
my.
Just leave the keys
office.
under the mat.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, leave the keys on our lock up when you're done and don't take any of my collectibles. All right.
Yeah.
It's
All
fine.
right. Meanwhile,
There's
I think-
cameras all over the place.
And there was a homeless guy living in the basement.
Yeah, that's
Is
true.
that who that
that's
was?
always-
Yeah.
No, we didn't have an elevator operator. That was a dude who just fucking lived in the
okay.
basement. Yeah,
Sorry, I thought the
He
building was
wasn't
that
the
old
doorman.
timey.
Okay.
He wasn't. Okay.
No.
I mean, he had a nice looking coat. That's all he was wearing.
It was yours.
That was it.
My old leather jacket.
Yeah,
It's
that boy.
Chris's winter leather jacket. That's what he was wearing.
I may
No
be
wonder I
talking-
liked it.
I may be talking shit, but I had some good times in that building.
I honestly, when I see clips, because I'm pulling a lot of archive clips, obviously, it's a huge archive for the show. And
No.
when I look, I know. I know. A lot of episodes. 229 technically is what this is. So if you're tuning in late, this will be up in the feed on Monday, and the full video will be out as well, the polished version, which is using the term very loosely. But when I look at episodes from the Eatontown studio, I do get nostalgic because that was almost 3 years ago that we went there. And that was also our introduction to you guys.
Yeah.
And yeah, that holiday live stream was a blast. That first one we did with all of us. It was just a big party.
It was.
I mean, Jack wasn't there. You were there, but
And
it was a lot
I mean,
of fun.
that was a dream come true.
Oh
It's
God,
not to,
yeah.
like, kiss the ass, but like we were doing on a 4-track,
With karaoke mics. Yeah.
karaoke
Like
mics
a-
starting out, and we're in a fucking studio
Yeah, but
right
you
now
did it.
recording this podcast.
Like you guys may like
it
joke
was-
around
it
about
was-
how you did it,
made
but
us
like you
dizzy.
did it.
Like
We did.
It was so cool.
I will say the only podcast that matters is what we're referring to, by the way, available wherever you're finding this. Well, not on YouTube, but where you get your podcast. Very funny show. Lots of best of compilations. Just listen to those and you'll be fine. But that show was like, it's funny how with meeting a lot of new podcasters and people come to me for advice, because at this point, as of the end of this month, it will be 13 years since
You're a
we did
dinosaur.
those first 2 episodes. I know a lot of people ask me for advice because it's like, well, you have been doing this for a long time and I can't deny it. The math checks out. So I have been talking about the older days, and like you and I have talked about privately recently, it's like I'm able to actually look back on those days with affection. But it was actually, we had a very, I feel like this term gets overused a lot, but I feel it's appropriate in our case because I'm saying it. No, but it was this very punk rock way of kind of doing it. It's just like, we're buying this mixer. We bought a mixer at Guitar Center
Right.
for
I
like
remember when we bought
$200.
it.
We
Yep.
bought karaoke mics, except Andrew had one of these. He actually had a Shure.
Yep.
Um,
The Elvis mic. we
Yes,
called
the
it.
Elvis mic, exactly, because we're using cheap karaoke mics,
Yeah.
and eventually, upgraded our stuff. But we're just like, we started figuring out how the equipment worked in April, and then started recording in June, and fast forward to 20. I mean, that was 2010.
And then right
Fast
to the
forward 10
races.
years, yeah, and we're in an actual studio.
Yeah.
With
Well, not right now.
And now you're
No,
outside
now
the
we're
secret
on the
stash.
street.
We're on the street.
Yeah, so
But
this,
I mean,
this show's been in flux.
We were amazed. I mean, like, this place is filled with nerd shit, and the people who work here are so cool, and then they start hopping on the show with us, and we're like, this is
And they still are.
And
So
they
much
still
so,
are,
they
right?
invited us to podcast outside of the world's most famous comic book store.
sometimes our
What
heads
the
still
fuck?
spin thinking about
Mine does
just
too.
being here.
Yeah. I still do it. I got to be honest with you, because like today, I mean, particularly for these two guys, today was a long day, but it was a long day for me too.
There's a very small list of podcasts that like have really left a significant like imprint on me that I got to work on with my years at A Shared Universe, and you are definitely in my like top 3 for
hope so.
sure. No, dude, because like we've had so much good times and so many laughs,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we're acting like this is the finale for some reason. But
We're just like, oh, here we are.
No, I'm
so
just
good.
reminiscing
I'm
about
gonna
it.
cry,
waiting
and you're
for
gonna cry.
Carol Burnett to come out and like
Yeah.
sweep us into a fucking spotlight. Like,
Do you recall? Do you recall the first time you ever podcasted?
First time I ever podcast? Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
First time I had ever podcasted was we were the first time Ming and I ever podcasted together. It was a joke. It was Flanagan.
Wait, intentionally or
Yeah,
like
no,
in
no.
retrospect?
No, there was no respect at all. Walt Flanagan and Brian Johnson, they had been doing Tell 'em Steve, Dave, and Kevin had started up Smodcast.
Right.
And
Yeah, tell Steve. I
he
think it was 2010. I think they started around 2010 as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were doing a weekly, which was like every other week.
It's
maybe.
ostensibly weekly.
Yeah, ostensibly. But they had to do. Kevin asked him. He was overseas. I think he was in England. They were doing something, and he had a morning show. So he asked them to cover for him. So the first week they did fine, but then they're like, "Oh God, I don't want to do this anymore." Hey, here's a real fucking laugh. Let's put Zapsik and Chen together, and let's watch this fucking train wreck, because that's their sense of humor. I'm like, yeah, go to town. But it turned out we didn't suck. And Kevin's like, holy shit, you guys made 2 hours seem like, 20 minutes. It was great. And so he's like, you guys have a new podcast, and it's called I Sell Comics. He just said,
There it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sell comics.
But I remember doing it with Ming, and we didn't, he had notes. I didn't.
Well,
And I'm like, all right, cool. So he had these notes. I'm trying to follow him, but by the same token, I'm trying to derail him. So it was great. Yeah. So It was a lot of fun.
That's where the fun starts in the
That's
podcast. When
exactly.
you get derailed from the notes.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
From the scripts.
Oh, that's another. Yeah, like one of the.
Like you have notes, and then the show gets derailed.
And that's that
every
is
time. I see
my
that is
favorite-
Yeah, I have
And you're
notes
like, I
open
didn't get
right
to
now,
this, I
and you're
didn't get
looking
to
at
that,
them, and you're like,
because-
"We're not getting any of this." Like,
I was
you're
looking before, I
eyeballing
was
them. You're
like,
like, "No fucking way."
My favorite thing is sometimes you don't do it often, but on the few occasions you do, sometimes like in the middle of a show or in the middle of a good conversation, Chris will just turn into the camera and just rip up whatever physical copy
Yeah.
of the notes that he has. Like, fuck it. I guess we're going Craig Ferguson up at this bitch.
That's fine.
This is great.
Well, and oddly enough, as you say, it's funny you bring him up. I probably got most of my host, like the embracing the chaos element of Cape from so much Craig. I was such a huge fan of Late Late Show with Craig, and saw it so many times in person, during my years out in California. And I definitely got more of that in terms of my hostness. I mean, do a little bit of prep because you can't show up and just expect you're going to kill it every time. And I'm sure he did too. It's when you're doing a show 5 days a week, you still have to do some prep, because not doing prep, it's going to wear off at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who's that on who could do it all
Nobody's
the time.
that lucky.
Exactly.
And that's a lot of luck.
Even if it's just the monologue, like you still need to come in with something.
Oh,
But
sure.
with guests, you need to have something. Was that me? Was that my voice coming out of your phone? What is that?
Just so I could make sure that everything was running smoothly, but my volume was a
Oh
little
no,
too high.
that's
My
fine.
apologies.
I'm just like, is he listening to the only podcast that matters? Right
Yes, I'm secretly in my
He's on
headphones
this
as I'm
podcast
listening to the fucking
old podcast.
Exactly. Well, that's
podcastception.
but it's
Right?
funny that this even comes up anyway. Oh my God, do you have the Inception? Oh, we don't have a soundboard properly. Damn it. Thank you. That's good enough. Shout out to Marv and Steve at Bravery. Anyway, I was actually thinking about that because it's summer, and that's one of the most memorable episodes of the show. And I'll put a link down in the description, so whether you're watching this on YouTube later after it goes out on the June 19th, or listening to the podcast audio, there'll be a link in the description. We did an episode, I'm sure you remember, just before Memorial Day in 2011 called Summercast, which was the first genuine derailing of an episode, which was brilliant because we... Good evening.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
love you too.
We're going to get heckled, everybody. This is the fun of it. It's not exactly Sean. I look
Fuck
out the
it, we're
window.
doing it
That
live.
works. Yeah. Well, I already used that as an intro, so I couldn't use it again.
I
love
can't
that.
wait till the bars start emptying out, folks.
Oh, that's going to be,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
which means we're going to be here
Do you
till at least
remember-
2 a.m. Sorry.
Wait, you were talking about show derailing? Wait,
Yeah.
shall I-
Well, that's what's going to, this is going to be the most ADHD episode of this show ever. And that's saying a lot. But
I was about to say, wait, are you? That's a bold
Yeah,
claim.
Yeah, don't be
well,
saying
listen,
that.
it's a high bar to clear,
The
but
bar
I think
is
we're going to
very,
do it
very
tonight,
high.
thanks to the participation of the streets of Red Bank. But we did this episode called Summercast. I don't remember what episode. It may have been episode 37. Funnily enough, I think it actually might. The original. Well, we had to record a whole half hour because it derailed about 45 minutes in,
Right.
and it also we recorded it just before the Rapture. Remember the date of the Rapture in May of 2011? I don't remember what the date was, but the day that the Rapture was supposed to happen, Macho Man Randy Savage died. And we got on a tangent where Jack was imitating Macho Man. He was an excellent Randy Savage, but he had just died a week before. And I was like, aside from the fact this show got derailed, it's probably too soon, legitimately too soon.
Wasn't that the show we had to go back and revisit and re-record?
We did another half
it
hour
was
and I
just
cut
so
it out.
bad.
And then when we were
No
winding
fucking way.
yeah, when we were winding the show down, in 2014, I put out the uncut version because we had the uncut version among us. I mean, I listen to it maybe once a year just because, again, I can still picture the whole thing playing out in my head. That was so I fell out of a chair at one point. No, it's fine. Oh, okay. I thought you were, oh my God, because I was just like, who's did we get a message from
No,
someone?
we're good.
Kevin, what the fuck's happening outside my store? Sorry. Chris just got an instant message.
Continue.
What's happening? And does Mike know about it? No, that is Mike. What? Oh,
Mike's
shit, it
here.
is. Shut it down.
We're good.
Oh, sorry.
No, he wouldn't. He'd be like, I'm too tired.
Anyway, that was insanely memorable. That experience of going off the rails was fun.
Yeah.
Because we just went nuts and we're like, I don't know if anyone's going to find this funny. And maybe they don't. You all can let us know in the
Yeah,
comments.
but then
Probably not.
you have no idea.
thought-
But
Or
that
go to hell.
turns into a podcast. I know that you said that yours
It
kind
turned
of
into
started
chaos.
as a joke, but it turned into I Sell Comics.
Yeah.
And that was you guys embracing the chaos. But has there ever been a kind of like them? Has there ever been a specific situation where you were just like, what the fuck is happening? But we're still live. Like, we still have to roll through with this.
We used to go, oh my God, we used to go live every Thursday. Yeah. So I Saw Comics was Thursday in the back of the stash from like 5 to 6 or 4 to 5? Forget what it was, but
wait, in the evening or in the morning?
No, it was in the evening.
Okay, I thought so. Just checking.
No.
Because I'm like, well,
yeah, with me,
you never know. I guess like, good morning and welcome to I Saw Comics. Well, it's new book day again.
Or Ming, hello everybody.
That was me at the beginning of Live from the Secret Stash, because we used to record in the mornings. Yeah, Mike will tell you, I would roll in and it literally just the worst version of me, dude.
I was on like the third episode you guys did. Live from the Secret Stash.
Thank God we started doing it at night.
Yeah. So. I got here like 45 minutes before everybody else because I'm like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. You with all your fucking energy showed up.
I was so fucking caffeinated, just like I am tonight. It's had no effect though.
Bada boy.
Fuck you.
But no, we were on, and I think I told this story on Live when Ted Adams. Ted Adams was the head honcho for, and I can tell it because this has nothing to do with Live.
Statute of limitations.
So, exactly.
This expired.
No, I know, and fuck Ted Adams anyway. Ted Adams was the.
That's the end. There's a punchline.
He was but fuck Ted Adams. And that was it. No, but he was the head honcho of IDW.
Oh, okay, yes.
And he,
for those of you who don't know,
IDW.
I know, but explain to them.
IDW is a comic imprint, and they do nothing but. It started out with Steve Niles' 30 Days of Night. That one-hit wonder, Steve Niles. Another guy I love. But anyway,
apparently,
yeah, right.
Fuck Ted Adams
and fuck Steve Niles. But yeah, that's the story for another time. But Ted Adams was he had put on season 1 of Comic Book Men. He'd put a tweet out there saying, "Hey, can we start a GoFundMe for getting rid of Comic Book Men?"
Wow.
And
what a shithead.
Yeah, well, and he didn't have the balls to tag any of us.
Well.
And somebody said, hey.
That's the internet.
Well, exactly. He had them internet muscles, Ted Adams, you fucking weekend warrior, you. So, yeah, seriously, come down 65 Broad Street.
Come down right now.
And
come
say
down
hello.
For an ass kick.
Yeah, we're right here.
Listen, Ted Adams, if you're watching, call in.
No, we were going live. And we're skewering the motherfucker.
Nice.
And we're like, who the fuck does he think he is? Mm-hmm. Wow. And he doesn't even have the balls. We called him like a coward on the air.
Well.
And his editor-in-chief, Chris Ryle, calls up Ming. Calls him on his cell phone. During the live.
Nice.
And he's like, and Ming puts him on.
Excellent.
And he's like, yeah, you guys have to stop doing. He called me into his office. He wants you to stop. You're pummeling him too hard. And I'm like, does he know that we're live? And he's like, we're live. And Ming actually had to cut us off. He stopped. And he's like, oh shit. And we had to go and re-record.
Really?
And Ming edited out all the parts where we were mean to poor Ted Adams. Poor Ted Adams.
Do they exist? Ming saves everything too. They gotta be somewhere.
Oh, I'm hoping. But I'm like, Ming, why the fuck do we? He's like, well, I don't want to get into a pissing match. I'm like, are you out of your mind? We were doing it live.
Yeah, like that's the joy of live, honestly.
Just a fact that, Ryle calls, who cares? And I mean, Ryle was his editor-in-chief at the time, and I had no beef with Chris. He used to run Kevin's Movie Poop Shoot website, and
nice.
I guess it's nice. I don't know.
Well, some
it's not around anymore, so I guess it wasn't that nice. So, yeah, Chris Ryle, I remember you. But he was like
Mike Zapsik's fuck you list this week on
Are you kidding? That's just come in and get it. I have a print. I have a mimeograph.
Yeah, they're laminated.
It's the Secret Stash secret menu
at the counter. Yeah, he'll autograph it for you. They're under the counter like Red Fox Records. There's a modern reference.
Chevy and was Billy Madison?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Boy, am I glad I called that guy. Yeah, you should be glad you called me. But and then there was Troy Burbank for Live from the Secret Stash.
Oh my fucking god!
Oh yeah,
okay,
that was fun.
That was
there was
me with the utmost swiftness of ending a live stream.
You were dumping out of the live stream.
Yeah, nice. He dumped us out of the live stream, and we were able to go in and Christian
Oh,
Okay,
man.
you want to tell it?
Go ahead, Christian. It's all
This
you.
You can be
motherfucker.
diplomatic if you have
And
to.
I
don't-
love
you know.
Troy. Troy is
Oh yeah,
awesome.
no, Troy's great people.
Okay, all right.
But
He's not on
Troy-
the fuck list.
No, he's not. But
Mike's
like,
fantasy fuck list. That's not what it sounds like.
no.
That
So
kind of
Troy,
list.
No,
we
that's,
had
that's a different list.
Well, oh my God. I mean, poor Christian's got his I want to fuck list, and then I've got a fuck you
Mike's got his
list.
I want to fuck you up list. That's what it is.
You know, Mike, you can tell a story that I'm fine.
No, you go to
no,
town,
no,
buddy.
no,
It's
no,
all
sorry.
you. You're doing
You're
it.
the one encouraging the derailment, and you're like, oh, no, you get to rip.
No. So we had. Why did we have Troy on? I think just for
Oh, it was good. No, because two things. One, we like Troy,
Yes.
and on our own.
yes. So Troy was promoting a short film that he had worked on with Ernie, a web series, and we were talking about Clerks 3 because I think that the premiere had just happened the night before, so like the
okay.
embargo on spoilers hadn't really lifted yet. So then
Oh,
we're literally
okay.
in the middle of a show, and then this dude just blurts out the big ending
Right.
of Clerks 3.
Which Ryan has not seen. So
Which you have
we're
not
gonna-
seen,
no,
so
no
I won't
spoilers.
spoil
There'll be
it
no
for you.
spoilers. There'll be
but
no
like
spoilers.
it was a big fucking spoiler.
Yes.
But like the way that I had swiftly ended the live stream, I basically cut it off right before he even fucking said it.
It was sad because
Those are
we
quick
all
fingers.
saw it. I looked at Christian. I'm like, and Christian's like,
Literally, like no, like because you have to realize
That may happen tonight if you hear a siren, and all of a sudden it's gone.
no, because you have to realize like we were still technically like we were under rules. It's like you can't say the ending.
No,
yet.
of
Like-
course.
Like the embargo hadn't lifted up yet. Like nothing was out there.
Right, the premiere's
And-
days out from the theatrical
Yeah.
release.
So then
you,
for him to say that, and we had a relatively sized group of people watching, so we
Right,
were like, oh
right.
shit. So just quickly, just
good for
edited
you to
it.
see it coming.
But then, so we picked it up, but we didn't go live. So then this is something you'll notice if you ever see this moving forward. I'll
Okay.
do this thing called live-ish from the secret
I've
stash.
seen that. I
So
figured that was just
sometimes
pre-recorded.
we'll pre-record them.
Right.
The StreamYard is wonderful and lets you.
technical difficulties. Please stand by.
That's what I cut in the middle of his thing. So I had this whole episode, and
That's
then right before he
brilliant.
reveals the trail, before
Was it-
he reveals the spoiler, technical
was it
difficulties.
Kevin's profile instead of the Indian head? That would have been excellent.
Oh
You need
my
one of
God.
those. Have somebody make one up. Send it into.
So then
DM it to Christian.
we recorded like a swift like, sorry about that, folks. That was an accident. That was totally unintentional.
Your arms are going like
I-
this.
yeah,
yeah.
Christian's turned into Gumby somehow.
Sorry about that,
During the
folks.
break. Sorry, everybody. My bones stopped working, so we had to cut the show off. I
Sorry,
hit
we
one of the
got the
keys.
palsy and the spastics.
Oops. And was Troy Burbank conspicuously missing for the second half of that show?
No, he's just leaning down, the knife sticking down.
His body was
Top
found
of
in
his
a
head with
dumpster
oh
out
my
back.
God. That would be shit. We could have done that. That would have been excellent if we were smart. Maybe for the Halloween live stream, which that's what I was going to say like a half hour ago when we started. People did say like, "Are you going to do another live stream for Halloween?" I'm like, maybe
Did
we
they
should.
like
We had fun. Oh, people loved it. Like we had a lot more live viewers who tuned in and watched it within because I left it up for like a day and then I put up again. They got the polish, just the color corrected version with the I beef up the audio and everything. So the live just goes private, but no, people liked it a lot.
Oh, cool.
And us being in costume has become kind of a go-to because
Okay.
obviously, I mean, I've repeatedly shared me as the Crow, and then people loved your,
David, that's
very budget friendly, your Dollar General David S. Pumpkins, which is redundant. And Christian not on camera at all, which was everybody considered a huge loss. So they want you to make up for it this year by being on camera with us. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. What
I said I want to be Lone Star and you need to be Barf. We talked about this
This is
because we can just
that's
shape your
true.
hair. We can shape your hair like the ears, so you don't even need to wear.
I'm a
some
mog.
piece. Yeah, listen, people, comment. We're live. Tell us you don't want to see Lone Star and Barf. Come on.
Or
Pizza
you
the
could be
Hut.
Jack Skellington. You could be Oogie Boogie.
Well. I like this idea.
I can't believe my eyes.
I like that. That's
How
cool as
Dare
fuck.
you treat my
Vote,
friends.
vote in the comments, everybody. Again, you can comment live on this wherever you're watching it,
These
Facebook or
ancient
YouTube, whatever.
U-
It's streaming on
Utah,
Facebook.
YouTube,
Yeah,
Utah, whatever.
Johnny Utah. Oh, I can be him. Maybe
Oh, that'd
I can
be
be
cool.
either one of the guys from Point Break.
Yeah.
Now that I think of it, I
Ryan,
don't remember the other one.
what are you gonna
What
do?
do you mean? Nah.
We gotta-
Ryan's like, I'm taking my kids out trick or treating. So
Yeah,
fuck
Ryan's
you.
gonna do some normal shit.
That's probably what's going to be
This
happening.
probably is. Well, you know what? Because we didn't do it because Halloween was on a Monday last year, so we were like, ah, shit, we can't do it on show day. But it is The 30th is a Monday this year. So I'm like, well, maybe we can actually just do it live and that'll be the week show. We'll just like be live,
Cool.
no trailer, tune in, watch it happen, and that'll be that. So on the 30th, maybe it's possible. But people did like that because they liked us being in costume and obviously the live part, which, you know, we're checking off the one live stream quota per calendar year tonight, but I'm down for doing another one in October. The show will be back at some point in October, certainly by October 30th. I know when the show's coming back, but just stay tuned to social media. Ooh, you got to follow. That's right, because there's some stuff in the works.
We got a comment.
Does it have to do with Ted Adams?
It doesn't.
Okay.
I mean, it might now. After tonight,
Okay.
I'm kind of curious
Maybe.
about getting all these people who you ripped apart. I kind of want to have them zoom in and just have a confrontation. I would love that on my show, actually.
Start screaming at Christian. Listen up, Zapsik, you piece of shit. And you're like, dude,
Death
wrong
match
guy.
at the secret stash.
Oh my God. That sounds excellent. Then I will take pitting people against each other on the show. Then I'll take the comments about, you just want to be Howard. Like, well, in terms of getting people to fight on the air, yes, actually. I wouldn't mind that at all. I want to hear Mike curse out more people face to face. I've never seen it happen.
And
but
he would.
I would like, no, he would.
Shit, yeah.
And he would, and Mike loves me enough that he would let me put it on this show.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because it's like, well, at least
Get
it'll
a
be documented.
get a certain typhoid
Yeah.
member over here.
Oh, dear Lord. Oh, my
And
God.
just face to face.
Oh.
Just do it.
There was a little bit of pre-show.
Yeah.
We
had to
can't,
be
we can't
pre-show.
talk about it. We can't talk about it.
Oh, if you know, you know. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Anyway.
some of you may know.
120 DPI jerk off.
We got a comment? Sorry,
Yeah,
you said
did.
we do. Okay,
From
go ahead.
Paige Fenton. She's like, oh my God, y'all need to do it. And I'm assuming that it is the costume.
The costume, the live stream. Please be more
I
specific.
think
Paige.
I think all
We
of
love
the
you.
above. I'm just gonna assume.
Okay. Well, we're just gonna split your costume down the middle. You'll be half barf.
I'll be
Boogie
half
Boogie.
bar for you. That's a terrifying costume. When I think about it.
or the best costume,
Or just a complete.
or just Oogie
amalgamation
Boogie
of
with
the
dog
both.
ears.
Oogie Barfy.
Holy
There
Oogie
you go.
Barfy. Oh no.
See, this is why you get asked to do shit like this
Nah,
show
I'm
all the
telling you,
time because the ideas never ends.
I'm an
Starts
idea
with
man,
the Strataturin
sharp.
idea, and it just
I mean, my
keeps getting
alternative-
better.
My alternative costume idea would probably be Pizza the Hut. I would love to be Pizza the Hut. Pizza the Hut. Oh man.
Well,
Either that or
and oh my God, you can get Gianni's to help you out with it too. Can you imagine if it was like an edible? It was like a
Pizza
Lady
the Hut,
Gaga-
sponsored by Gianni's Pizza.
Oh my God, Gianni's Pizza presents Cape's Halloween live stream
Oh my God.
featuring Christian Cortez's Pizza the Hut.
Well, there's a Domino's down the street if Gianni's wants nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just like,
Domino's works.
I don't want to get on Mike Sapsik's bad side. I'd really rather not get involved.
The
Okay,
bottom of
we
the list is
understand.
Little Caesars. They'll be like, "We'll do it."
Yeah, Little Caesars is just
Pizza,
like we'll pay you, please. This hot and
Pizza,
fresh thing is
pizza.
people are coming in
We need
asking
the
for all kinds of
exposure,
stuff.
anything.
I did see that Little Caesars the summer of thin crust.
Is that
It's
that's
a
the thing?
great it's like a great commercial. The guy's like, hey, I come up every year, son. I've been coming up here for every year since I can remember, and having Little Caesars pizza, thin crust, and not just eating it, but watch this, and he skips it across. And it's like, and
That's fantastic.
then on the other side, it's got this guy and his daughter. It's like, honey, I've been coming here forever, and every summer I come here. Every once in a while, pizza will pop. Thin crust pizza will pop out of the lake, and he puts his hand up. And it's like, and I caught one. And the daughter puts a hand. She's like, I caught one too. And it's like, that is fucking.
Can you
brilliant.
find this and put the?
That
Can we
is
do
brilliant.
it?
You know what?
that.
I
We
love.
can't do it, can we?
You know what I love about that commercial too is I love how Little Caesars has just embraced that. Yes, our pizza is only half pizza. It is
Yes.
also part rubber and
Right.
frisbee.
Well, I mean,
It's like we
Pretty
skim
much.
rocks. You can skim our
Yeah.
pizza.
yeah.
And even after skipping across the water, it'll taste the same.
I
mean,
Swamp water. You know?
It'll
And I
taste
don't,
like
I don't
slate.
even know. I don't think I've ever even really had Little Caesar, so I
Really?
don't know where they fall on the list of like
It's
bad pizza and how
it's-
good the bad pizza
It's budget
is.
friendly.
You know what I mean?
It's above like a frozen,
It's
like an average frozen pizza. It's better than that,
right.
but it's not good pizza.
But
Like,
it's
there
not
used to be
good
one.
pizza.
We used to when I was growing up.
Because there's
100 years
such a
ago,
thing as
but
good bad pizza, you know?
This is not good bad pizza.
Yeah.
Like I would put like Domino's in that category. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, well, they're open. Let's
Right.
get Domino's.
Yeah.
That's kind of the only reason. But there was one in Howell. Like, you know where
Okay.
Kmart used to be in Howell? It's a shop right now.
Yes.
There was one across the
Yeah.
street in this tiny plaza. Oh, where Sonic is. That's right. There's a Sonic in
Oh,
Howell. Yeah,
right,
and
right.
There used
Yeah.
to be like, it was basically like a walk-in closet that was a Little Caesars. And once in a while, we got pizza from there. God knows why. We're in New Jersey. I don't know why my parents didn't just spring for
They
like
have
an
good
actual
pizza
pizza.
everywhere.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I kind of don't know. what the deal was, but because the pizza in California was so disappointing,
Right.
I would get, and when I was an impoverished voice actor 10 years ago, I would occasionally get the hot and fresh or hot and ready or whatever the fuck it's called pizza
what
from
was it,
Little
like
Caesars.
$5?
It was $5.
Right, yeah.
It was $5. It was like a medium pizza, and I'm
Yeah.
like, well, this is 2 meals.
Yeah.
So it was fine for me.
Yeah.
And then that didn't last
Right.
because I was like, I can't keep eating this. Number one, I'm gaining weight. Number two, it's
Yeah.
just not that
Keep
good.
eating half a pizza in my
Yeah.
fridge meal.
Yeah, it's
by myself.
It began the show. Let's put it that way. So,
All right, let's talk about like bad good pizza.
all right, what do you
Let's
got?
talk about no,
good pizza or good
Well,
bad pizza?
Good
There-
bad pizza.
Good bad pizza.
Yeah, good
and
bad
bad
pizza.
good pizza. Like
Okay.
as far as like frozen goes,
Yes,
like there's Tree Tavern pizza. Remember, it's in the white and the green
Yep.
box.
yes.
That's the best of the bad frozen pizzas.
Is it really? I don't think I've
I'm-
ever had it, and now I'm gonna have to try it.
Yeah.
Yes, I know of
Okay.
it. We should.
I see it. All
What's
the
it
time.
called?
I know
We need.
exactly
If
what
anybody
Tree
wants
Tavern.
to, if anyone would like to
Tavern,
bring one,
yeah.
a prepared one to 65 Broad Street,
Okay.
pick
Yeah.
one up, find a
Duly
24-hour shop right, and make it.
It's-
Bring
it's
it to
not
us.
bad. Totino's is good bad pizza or
Uh-huh.
bad good pizza. No, it's good bad pizza.
See,
Totino's used to be like a $1.
I'm
a
going to give you
pie.
that one because you used to be a heavy drinker, so I'm going to say yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, because I'm like
What
that's the
about-
only
what about
reason
DiGiorno?
you would keep down
I think
Totino's.
DiGiorno
I
is
think
like on,
DiGiorno is the best of what I've had.
No,
Yeah.
Newman's
Frozen
Own.
pizza.
Newman's Own.
Never had
Is
Newman's Own.
get the fuck out of here.
No, I haven't.
Why not?
I usually
Profits
I,
to charity.
I,
What's
I
wrong
get
with you?
DiGiorno.
Why do you hate kids? Wow, it got really
Holy
quiet.
God.
I just
Holy shit! You looked at him like I look at Ted Adams. Oh my
cut me
god!
You just Ted Adams me. I can't believe it. Live.
Ted Adams.
How dare you? I'm
You
sorry.
got Ted Adams.
Yeah, so I,
Shit. Oh my god.
There's our next piece of merch,
Someone's-
Mike. You just got Ted Adams.
It's generic enough of a name that no one's gonna know, right?
No, of
You can't
course
file
not.
suit.
Like I've had-
unless it's a class action lawsuit. Like 12 guys named Ted Adams. Like we would like this merch pulled right away. You were besmirching
Oh,
the good
would
name
you,
of
oh,
Ted
you
Adams.
would? Go
Many
fuck
Ted
yourself.
Adams. All of them.
Yeah, seriously.
We're not talking about you specifically.
Yeah, how dare you,
so
Ted
wow.
Adams?
Yeah.
So
How dare you assume it's all about you?
I would like to apologize to the viewing audience. I did not mean to bring Cape down by yelling at Ryan about.
You jiggled the cable, and we're
Jiggled.
back.
We're back.
We're back.
Did we lose everything? Or
No, just that for a second.
Oh,
Because StreamYard's like, hey, your audio. Where'd you go?
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we're good.
Apologies,
Watch
folks.
your arms.
Sorry, that's why I said shift over. And
I did shift over.
I know you did, but this is exactly
Now,
what I was. Afraid
I've been
of.
like
I apologize,
staring at
everybody.
this
Now,
cable
Christian's
this whole time.
really
He's really on top of
possessive
it. I
of
gotta
his
tell you, I'm just gonna keep
wires
this,
now.
my hand on my left
Absolutely.
knee.
Stay the fuck away from me.
Oh my god!
Whoa.
Wow, I thought I was being aggressive.
Wow!
on
Oh
the show,
my
but-
god! You
Jesus.
just got Chris riled.
I did-
Wow!
Chris Ryle.
wow. I mean, he riled up.
Got
Chris.
him
There's
riled
that.
up.
Yeah.
I know the worst of the frozen pizzas though.
Okay.
Elio's.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
No.
The little
we have
cubes?
Fun
Oh,
That
memories
is good
of
bad
L-
pizza. That is good bad pizza.
No, that's bad pizza.
I had
You're out of
Elio's
your
recently,
mind.
and it doesn't hold up as much as I
It
would have wanted
still
to.
does. I don't eat
Because
it.
I loved it when I was a kid. Loved Elio's.
I
pizza.
still do, but that's probably why. Look, again, I'm not gonna try to convert anybody on this,
Uh-huh.
but like I will once in a while get some because I'm just like, oh, this is great. Like they actually have,
This is great.
this is great. Yeah, I actually went full Ryan.
All right.
I'm trying to
This is
make up
great.
for the fact that I bit his head off before.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's great.
All right, so
Trying to be
okay, so now I have to do Tree Tavern and I have to do
Oh,
Newman's
hold
Own
on.
Pizza.
Yeah, Newman's Newman's
I'll
Own.
put
I
them
think
on the
is-
list. You don't have to twist my
Mama
arm to eat
Celeste.
frozen
No, I get
pizza.
that.
All right,
that's,
can we all
that's just
agree?
bad. Yeah,
That's
like
horrible
That's
pizza.
because that's like
Wait,
a
what
buck
is
and a
it?
half.
Mama Celeste?
Yeah, no.
You know what pizza is? Frozen pizza is actually really good. Is Tony's. Have you ever had
Ugh.
Tony's?
Oh yeah, I hate
It has
that.
that
I don't-
like flaky bottom crust that's really good.
I know of them. I can't recall if I've had it or not.
Tony's is good and cheap, like real cheap, like $3
Well,
a pie.
And that's where I hesitate.
Yeah,
But that and like
but
Red
Tombstone.
Baron, I'm like, I don't
Red
know.
Baron's good too.
Is it?
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Tombstone.
Tombstone?
Tombstone
is
good.
good.
I really don't remember
Tombstone's
Tombstone.
good.
That's another one. I'm not sure if I've had it because we
And
didn't-
also-
my parents didn't buy frozen pizza a whole lot. They would subject us to Little Caesars instead. No, but
Little Caesars. We'd all have little Caesars.
Sorry, am I getting sleepy already?
Did you get the extra mercury on that?
Little seizures.
It's It's not really a brand per se,
That
but
was
Aldi
okay.
has a great frozen pizza.
Who? Wait, what?
Aldi, the
Aldi,
store.
the
Do they really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a great selection of frozen pizzas, and they're all fucking.
The
great.
generic brand names at Aldi crack me up. My parents shop at Aldi a lot. I literally, it's just like
This one doesn't even have a fucking generic
Well,
brand
I
name.
know,
It's
that's-
just like, welcome to Aldi.
Yeah.
Here's our fucking pizza.
Yeah, cheese pizza.
Yeah, and they're
Just
pretty
says
cheap there
pizza.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can.
It's like bueno. It's like bueno
It's-
what?
That's the salsa.
Hello.
It's like Buenos. No,
This is-
Casa Mamita's the salsa. My
This
parents
is the
always
thing
say.
about Aldi's pizza, though. It is it tricks you with like Mama Celeste prices because it's like $1, but then you actually bite into it and it's like, oh shit, this is delicious.
Like it's actually all right.
Yeah.
Now is it the all right? Because this is a fair metric. How much of it is the price makes it good? Because cheap pizza, you're just like, well, at least I only
It
paid
tricks your
$1.
brain
Like it's
into
not bad.
thinking it's better than it is,
Exactly.
because
That's like
it's-
a Newman's Own pizza will cost like $8.
Yeah.
But so it's still about
'Cause you
DiGiorno
go to-
prices. But I'm like, this is actually
Yeah.
good.
Because you go to a pizzeria like in Jersey and you get a good pizza and it's $20, and you're like, I got this frozen pizza for $3.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
like,
So
fucking
how
great.
much?
Yeah, like,
how much did that factor
much of it
into
is- yeah.
the
Like a Totino's,
quality?
it's like, oh my god, it's $1.50. I can fold it like a quesadilla and just eat it
and
like
just eat it in 2 bites.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
And that's delicious
Yeah.
for
See,
$2.
Yes.
Then I would argue the pizza bite, the bagel pizzas, the little tiny bagel bite
Yeah,
pizzas
bagel bites.
ones are
Yeah.
fucking great. Then
What
I
about
would put
Totino
those-
pizza rolls?
Pizza rolls. See, that's
Pizza
where I go
rolls
with
are
it. I
great.
think Totino's. I think of
I
pizza
like
rolls.
The ones with the pepperoni and sauce.
We got a
on them.
recommendation from Paige. She
Okay.
says, try the Stranger Things.
Turn the stream off again. This
Chris,
sucks.
Put
Go
your,
back
put
to
your
Bellworks.
elbow back.
Yeah.
All right, and broadcast.
Page's
Stranger.
recommendation. You guys suck at this. Sorry.
What is it? The
I'm just
Stranger
kidding.
Things.
We love you, Paige.
Yeah,
the lovely, the
13
lovely
years, really?
future Paige Mad. ahead.
Stranger Things frozen Surfer Boy pizza at Walmart slaps. I don't know. So
yeah, but she's a fangirl though. We can't take her word for it. She's such a Stranger Things fan. I say
She
that
just
out of love.
turned out. She's just like, all right, fuck you guys. You're all
That
Ted
is
Adams
wildly specific. Paige, bring some to it. You live in the neighborhood. Like, snag some. Are Walmart still 24 hours? I
No.
realize- No, they're not anymore?
No,
okay.
no.
Shit. Sorry. Well, if you have some
you,
in the
you know,
freezer at
not for
home,
nothing. This actually looks like it might be pretty good. I'm
Okay.
looking at like
You got-
pictures of it, and it actually does look pretty
Oh,
decent.
because it looks retro. Because it's
Not
Stranger
just no,
Things.
not the retro boxes, but I'm actually
No,
looking
but
at the
that's
pizza.
helping a lot because I'm going back to being like 8 years old, and don't
Yeah.
we all want to go back there.
I'm about it. I'm digging it.
Okay.
I'm gonna try this.
I'm willing. Yeah, I'm willing to try it. I'm game for that. I'm not like a pizza snob. I mean, Jersey's pizza is better than New York's pizza. Can we all agree on that?
Yes.
I mean, we're
Absolutely.
okay,
It
good.
is.
Because I've made jokes about second rate pizza when I go to the city. Like I grabbed a second rate slice of pizza, and people are just like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "You goddamn well what I mean."
Yeah.
But Jersey
Yeah,
pizza is
New York
superior.
gets the recognition like nationwide for their pizza, but
but no,
they
but-
sleep on Jersey.
and that's another thing, and that's why I bring up price because people like New York pizza because it's $1 a slice. Right?
Yeah.
That's why
There's
they
a
think
reason
so
it's
good.
$1. It's a
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a reason it's
But you
$1
go
a
to-
slice.
Exactly. You go to a Ray's original pizza. and
Famous
you-
original Ray's the
famous-
third.
yeah, the
However
upper,
many,
whatever
yeah.
the fuck he does. But yeah, you're paying $1, and how much is like $2 for a cup of sugar water, and you
Yeah.
know, $3.
$3, and you're like, I ate,
and you're
like,
set.
And yeah, I mean, for New York prices, that's why people are just like, this pizza's
course.
great. Like, no, it's not. It is pizza. It qualifies as pizza.
That was
It
one
has
of the
ingredients.
most annoying things about when I lived in New York very briefly for film school.
Yes.
And when I was living there, I was like, you know what? Let's try all the fucking famous pizza spots that you hear about. And I'm just like, almost every single one of them was so disappointing.
That's
where
like-
I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like either overcooked, undercooked, too cheesy. Like I was like, what the fuck is
Well,
this?
there's no such
Yeah,
thing
how
as too
can-
cheesy.
That's very false.
No,
Wow.
it
Yeah,
isn't.
actually, no. He's,
There's never, under any circumstances, any such thing as too much cheese.
yes,
Yes.
actually.
says the guy fighting an intestinal infection.
It
But
doesn't matter.
like,
It's-
guy
it's
who's
a law of the
digest food
universe.
right now.
No,
and you're like, oh.
if they don't give you enough sauce on there, there is too much cheese. If they fuck you on the sauce and you don't get, and they give you too much cheese,
Fuck you.
They fuck you. Yeah. Like, fuck you on the sauce.
They
fuck you. Yeah, they're really gonna shut us down now. It's like, why are you guys so mad? Why are you yelling at each other? Why are you cursing so loud? Redback is a nice town. Not anymore. It's not.
anymore. It's
Do you know who owns this place?
Exactly.
Sauce. Yeah. Not that I wouldn't eat that. I mean,
Paige
But
makes a
not bad.
point about
Yes.
the pizzas. She's like, it's the crust, and then for frozen for Boyd pizza, she's like, it's the best frozen pizza crust. Outside from just but you know what? She's right, because like that's also why I really like DiGiorno's frozen pizzas, because their crust is really
I agree.
good.
But and see, that's where you'll get a lot of argument, because I know so many people don't eat the pizza crust on frozen pizza, on conventional pizza. Let's say
DiGiorno's has the stuffed crust
really
too,
stupid.
which is awesome.
Oh my god!
So you know a bunch of communists and Nazis and just
listen.
and
I don't get it
haters
either.
of joy.
I love carbs so much. I miss them greatly, but I do
Somebody
not
call them and
understand.
tell them that Chris still loves them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he almost shed a tear right there. He was like,
I just called to say I love you.
Crust.
I told you we're Journey psychouts. Anyway,
We all just went to
I'm
three
running out of
different
ideas.
songs.
like, there was the worst medley I've ever heard.
There was nothing similar about anything we were all
when you
singing.
keep
And I
shutting
hate
people
Bill
up past
Medley,
midnight.
Yeah.
so fuck that.
And loopy.
I know.
Yeah,
But if you're going around here, there's
Yes.
Pete and Elda's.
Mhm.
You don't like Pete and Elda's?
That's where the tourists go. I'm not
Okay,
crazy about Pete and
that's
Elda's.
fine. I go
I
to
went to
Vic's.
get the T-shirt.
Okay.
And,
When that's the problem, you know,
Yeah.
a New Yorker when you see that fucking T-shirt.
And they gave me like the triple
No
X
disrespect to Pete
T-shirt,
Nelson,
and I'm
just-
like, look at me, like, do I?
No,
Are you swimming in this thing?
Yeah,
They were
you're
hedging
an
their
expert,
bets.
for God's sake.
They were like, we put a lot of cheese on your pizza.
If you're eating this whole pizza, like,
Yeah,
you
we
know
had,
what you're like.
we had a bunch of puny people in before eating
Yeah.
pizzas. Like they ate all the largest.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah,
shut
yeah.
up.
Ming is working
I have
there?
been hearing
Yeah,
that.
true.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Hi,
I'd
can I
always
take
heard
you
that,
to your
like, these
table?
Skinny girls
Yeah.
we're doing the pizza challenge, and eating the whole thing. I was like, you know what, I can do that too. And then
Yeah, right.
I did it. I was
Yeah, a
like,
bunch of svelte
I felt
19-year-olds.
sick,
You're
and
like,
I
I
got
can do
triple
it.
X T-shirt.
It's like
That's because Ming was giving. Hey, girls, come on down. I got some
Yeah, hey, what's
extra
up,
small
everybody?
T-shirts in.
Oh, this looks like a cow.
Uh-oh.
Look at everybody. Like, stop cursing
It's
about
like-
frozen pizza. Like, there could be a law in the books. We did.
No, it's not a. It's
I'm
not a
just
not
fucking
the
around.
5-0.
I saw an SUV pull up to the curb, and
Yeah.
I'm like, shit. Well, this has been fun, everybody.
Fuck yeah, they
Thanks,
fuck you.
Paige.
Fuck you, jeez.
But anyway, yeah, they're just like, why are they screaming about getting fucked with pizza? Anyway, like this, what's going on at that place?
It's Ted Adams.
Like I took a fucking
Oh,
Uber.
shit. It's Ted Adams.
Shit, he's got a crowbar.
Took an Uber over
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
Comes out looking like Bill Gates.
Yeah, swinging a tire iron.
Yeah.
Smash him up, boys.
Say my name again.
Go ahead.
Say my
Go ahead.
Keep my name out your fucking mouth.
Out your fucking mouth.
You just slapped me.
I can't believe it
I'm
took
like,
us
what?
this long to drop a reference to that.
Oh, my
Holy
God.
shit. Oh, that's fantastic.
I'm almost sad it's not his crew, because I would laugh straight in their face. Oh, God.
What?
Those
the
comic
Ted
book
Adams
guys.
posse?
The Ted heads?
The Ted
I'd be like, you
We'll find
fucking
out.
goons.
Yeah, you'd just be like, what are you doing here?
You work for the dweeb. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
I don't know this dude, but I'm
Oh,
gonna.
shit.
They can vouch for him
Oh, fuck.
or not, but I'm taking their word for it.
Oh, man.
What are we talking about?
You were talking about pizza spots that you frequent.
Oh yeah, yeah.
said
Sorry,
Vic's.
you were giving up.
Vic's. Oh my God, Vic's in Bradley Beach. If you've never been,
Never been.
oh my God, it is like
I may have. I used to hang out around.
If you've
there.
never been, never been.
Yeah.
Never been. Confirming right now.
Yeah.
I like Sally's up the street. They're not too bad.
Sally Boys.
Yeah, Sally Boys.
Never been.
They're not too bad.
If I've
I
never
enjoy
been,
it.
I've never been.
Never been.
Never been.
No, you got to go to Vic's because Vic's looks. I swear to God, I think they redid the decor, but up until about 5 years ago, the place looked like where Tommy got whacked in Goodfellas.
Of course, yeah. Is that right?
It's
It's
like
a
you
big
walk
empty
in-
room.
It's a big empty room with plastic on the floor and wood paneling on this. And
Oh,
enough, a
no.
ping
And the
pong
service
table in
lights.
the middle. Oh fuck!
I mean, but at
Yeah.
the same time, like that's how you know a spot is good. Kind
When there's nobody in it.
well,
I don't
no,
know about that.
not
It looks
not
like-
when there's nobody in it, but like when it kind of looks like shit.
and it's still full.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
But the
obviously,
food
yeah,
is like just tremendous for some
Yeah,
reason.
of course.
It looks
The
like
food
a
is
shithole.
delicious, but this
Yeah.
place is a shithole.
It's a
There's-
shithole.
I
Yeah.
found that up in living in North Jersey these last 4 years. There's a lot of like hole in the wall places I wouldn't have known about. That they're kind of like nondescript from the outside, but it's just like this is awesome, and this they've been here for 80 years. Like who knew about it? Because I don't feel like we had a lot of spots kind of near where we grew up. I can't think of a
Not
lot of
like
places. Yeah, no, not like that have been around. It was all
Like the cabin?
franchises.
Well, you guys down in hell,
the,
right?
the cabin.
Yeah,
Well,
Lakewood.
Lakewood. We grew up
Cabin's
in
good.
Lakewood, yeah.
Yeah,
Lakewood.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. But not like a place like, like Rutt's Hut or Star Tavern or, like places that have been around forever. Even
Right.
TikTok,
Well,
which
we
is,
had- no, we
has
have-
a reputation.
It's
but-
not Howell, but we had Federici's in Freehold. It's a great pizza spot.
I don't know if I know the name, obviously, but I don't know if I've.
And
Had
there's Frankie Feds out in Freehold too, which was such a disappointment to me because
Really?
the name it's called Frankie.
Well,
Feds.
Frankie Feds. I mean, that's.
I'm like that's
We know who's
I
not
have to
hanging
go
out there.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you hear? What do you
Ted
say?
Adams.
Ted Adams. Ted Adams don't hang out nobody.
Ted
No
Adams.
in, no out.
Chris Ryle is not going to be there.
Yeah, not
Yeah, it's like-
him neither.
He's not writing 30 Days of Pizza.
No, that's right.
Ted Adams doesn't eat the pizza crust.
Yeah, Ted Adams doesn't eat pizza crust. That's a good shirt. Wait, that's a Halloween live stream. Oh, Ted Adams doesn't eat. Oh, it's my favorite.
I love that as an insult. You don't fucking eat pizza crust.
Pizza crust.
What you know about pizza crust?
Fuck you. Fuck you and your pizza.
You don't know how to kiss a girl. Well, you don't know how to eat pizza crust. Fuck you.
Why would he?
Exactly. Like
Why would he say that? You don't know how to kiss a girl. It's like, how do you know? You've been watching me.
You got to think of the most juvenile. You got to think of the most juvenile response. And I also just came from watching a whole shit ton of Sandlot clips,
Gotcha.
so I'm in the,
Okay, fair enough.
so
Yeah,
I'm in the mindset of just very
don't know how
juvenile
to kiss a
jokes.
girl. All right. If you say so, okay.
Sure, I don't even know what to
I'm
say
all-
back to that. So
I'm also just trying to think of like the ridiculousness that
No,
this
that's
Ted
right
Adams
on.
that
Mom,
we've created would play.
That's right on par with you don't eat pizza crust. You don't eat your pizza crust. Ah. This is dumb.
Paige has got to be like,
Thanks for tuning in to the last minute.
Paige has been gone for like 10 minutes.
Paige went out for. She's making one of those pizzas. They probably got a freezer full of them. They're still.
She's like, Chris likes it too. Then I'm like, bring us some fucking Surfer Boy pizza.
Where is it? It sounds like you must have some in the freezer. You're not just buying one of those when you go to Walmart, guys. Come on,
cook it up
be
and
real.
bring it on over.
I mean, they're 5 minutes from here. Like, why aren't they here now? I did actually send her a message. I was just like, come by, because we're literally going to be on the street and anybody can by. Frog on the Street podcast. I don't do a good Kermit, but that's. I was thinking about that for an intro, but then I'm like, I don't
I
know.
don't know about all that.
I mean, granted, I can't use Kermit because Disney. And all I need is them on my
Yeah,
ass.
that shut down.
Yeah.
Right quick.
Yeah, instantly. Like, I already got to worry about it. Copyrighted music.
for a
being used
second
during
there,
the
I thought
countdown.
you said Lou Granite. I'm like, what?
What
Lou
the
Grant?
fuck?
What the fuck
Oh,
are you
wait,
talking
Lou
about?
Grant? It's like he's gonna. You
Yeah.
got spunk.
Yeah. That's, I hate
Lou Grant
spunk.
is going to come in here and tell me he hates
I
spunk.
hate spunk.
Hates spunk and pizza crust.
You don't know how to kiss spunk. What the fuck does that mean?
Bring it here. We'll make it here.
We'll make it live.
Yeah. Oh my god, that'd be the weirdest ad.
Can we
for
put it
Walmart
on one of
Stranger
your
One of my lights would cook the fucking pizza.
or we just
Things? This show's After Dark in the dark.
we'll just pop the hood of your car and put it on the engine block.
Right on the engine block.
Maybe.
Only a little bit of motor oil, you know.
That's hey.
Can only
Motor,
help.
olive, who cares? And did lights just go out? I think lights went out on the streets. Weird. And
Really?
that
Well, not
car's
everybody's
still-
out on the streets of Red Bank,
Yeah.
bullshitting around like we are.
Pretty-
you know.
pretty
Yeah,
fire
Ted
right
Adams
now.
is still parked over there listening
Yes, he
to
said
us.
somebody's on the phone with
Ted
Red
Williams.
Bank PD right now because they have not.
It's like an FBI van in there.
Maybe
He's got reels rolling.
Also, that's why
Surfer
FBI
Boy
surveillance
pizzas we
van
deliver.
just showed up in the Wi-Fi.
Holy shit! That actually is Ryan's Wi-Fi. Funnily enough, that is FBI surveillance fan number whatever, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
I would do the same thing.
Mine for
Where's my
the
Wi-Fi?
mine for the
Got
longest.
spook the
I,
neighbors.
I used to hate my neighbor across the way,
Okay.
so I named our Wi-Fi. I know it was you, Lisa.
Wow.
So I know for a fact, like she must have seen
At
it
this
and
point,
been
I'm just
like, "What the fuck?"
I'm gonna name my Wi-Fi I eat pizza crust just because I'm curious how many people are gonna try to log in. I eat the crust.
Mine's
But that
fuck
could-
Ted Adams.
Yes.
The password is the same.
I invite Ted Adams over. Hey,
Fuck Ted Adams
hey, want to
is a
use my Wi-Fi?
69 pound.
Fuck Ted Adams. Well, what's the password?
Fuck Ted Adams.
Fuck is in all caps.
Oh shit!
You're gonna get a citation on
I
Monday
have
or
no
something. It's gonna happen
I'm
for
surprised
sure.
I'm not getting one right
There's a bunch
now.
of nut jobs ruining our fine city. Nut job city limits. Anyway, that's the title to beat, boys.
Yep.
Because fuck Ted Adams is a little dirty
Yeah,
for the
a little
title,
bit.
and
Little
wildly
bit.
specific too.
Yes,
I don't know if
way
that's a
too
great
specific.
title,
Yeah.
but the t-shirts are happening.
and your little Chris Ryle too.
Yes. Oh my god. Wow.
I don't eat pizza crust. He doesn't.
Yeah,
eat
let's.
pizza
I'm,
crust.
I'm going to throw that up actually when the trailer goes out for this on Monday. I'm going to put that in the Instagram stories, Cape Instagram stories. Do you eat pizza crust? Because this is obviously going to be a video clip.
Listen,
so
this is important to know because I don't know if I could trust somebody who
I
doesn't.
know a bunch of people who don't eat the pizza crust, and I don't
You
understand.
got to be a
either.
shitbag because that's the best part of the pizza.
It's like
It's
the reward.
bread. Who doesn't love bread?
It's when the cheese and the pasta and the pasta sauce, the pizza sauce leak up there, and you get that bite.
Yeah.
Oh
and you're
yeah.
like, fuck yeah! And I don't trust people who eat pizza like this. And don't.
Oh,
fold
crust
it.
first?
Oh yeah. No, you
don't
got taco
fold it.
your pizza.
You gotta
Yeah,
fucking fold
You
it.
taco your
yeah,
pizza.
no,
yeah.
No, people who like eat it like this.
Eat it.
And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Feed it in like it's a CD. And
You gotta do the
in a
fold.
car disc player.
Yeah.
yeah.
No. You got to taco your pizza
Yeah, like
when you
it's
eat it.
IBM,
Yeah,
one of those
absolutely.
fucking punch cards.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
God.
you
Like a
don't
floppy
do that.
disk.
You fold that
Monster
shit
joint.
and you stuff it.
Exactly. Quickly.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so here we are again.
Looking at your notes.
Did you want to get
on that? What do you got on that list?
Do you want to get to any of
other
these
than
notes,
pizza?
Chris? I don't know. Well, I did. I was thinking about a couple of things, including because we got into it last weekend, which just to tease Cape 230, the mid-year finale of Cape, the waxing special. Make sure to check that out on Monday, June 26th. It's essential viewing. I say it was great. Ryan was there to essentially witness
Oh, wait a
it.
minute. You guys actually did the waxing?
We did the waxing special.
Oh,
Yes.
dear God.
No, it's coming out.
KP.
It's a must.
Oh, dear.
Our
God.
buddy KP Burke got his lower back waxed on camera. He was the first one to go. It was everything you'd hope for and more.
Oh,
Trust.
God.
And Jack, whose back is like, I think I told you, it's like Burt Reynolds' chest
Yeah.
in that classic.
Oh,
photo.
Yeah.
no.
Jack's entire back. I got before and
He
after
got his
photos of
whole
Jack.
back
I'll just show you the
waxed.
before of Jack. And it's amazing. So that is, and thank you once again to Marv from Bravery Studios, Bravery Up, who indulged me with a 3-camera shoot. I'm cutting it using 3 separate angles.
It was pro.
Recorded directly to a memory card, full HD.
Oh,
This is going to be a
God.
fucking movie that I'm editing. Like I'm going for like a tight 90 minutes, maybe an hour 40. But I was just like, can we do? He indulged me with this 3-camera shoot. So I have an overhead. I have a camera on the face, and then I got us at the table. Myself and Ugo did a commentary as well with me on the table, and you know.
I
him. So
can't wait to
that
fucking
is
see it.
Jack's back pre-wax.
Yikes.
So that's
Yeah.
So that's
Oh, no.
the whole thing right down to the crack. That's right. He got
And
the
then
whole
after,
fucking
how
thing.
fucking red was he?
Fairly right. I have a photo of that, but again, I want you to watch. I'll gladly send it to you after. Well, I'll superimpose it in the video so everybody gets a good shot.
Are you
of it,
doing a
but-
Billy Crystal from Running Scared? Oh, no. Because that's oh no.
Oh, no.
No,
No,
Mama, can you put
No, I was
tiny
doing
marshmallows in my cocoa?
He did not know what Ipswich clam was. I'm like, oh dear Lord.
Shit. Shinola.
Wow, that is an excellent accidental segue into what I was going to bring up. Because we
Fantastic.
were talking last weekend about movies, as we always do, but movies that actually get better the older we get. And City Slickers is one of those movies for me, where I think that came out, I want to say 91. So I was about 10.
91?
My parents rented it.
Okay.
Well, he's got an accent.
That's got to be 88, I'm thinking.
No, I think it was the 90s film for sure.
91.
It is 91. Okay.
All right, cool.
So my parents rented it at Blockbuster. I remember they went to rent it the first time, and it was all rented out. So they ended up going back a couple days later, and they
Jack Palance
um,
was still a big piece of shit. But no, he was a big guy back then.
he was
He creeps me out too. And like I loved the City Slickers movies when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But he like
legitimately
there was something so
intimidating.
creepy and intimidating about
Yeah.
him.
If you ever
And
get
the voice and the leather face.
Yeah, and
You ever
despite
get
being
the
79,
chance?
Right.
Watch him. He did a TV Dracula,
Okay.
really,
and he was.
what an interesting choice.
I was like, fuck, because that's. I mean, Christopher Lee was badass
yeah.
But you're watching, you're like, fuck, that's Jack Palance because he's like,
Does he just talk in his regular
how are
voice?
ya? Yeah, exactly. Hello, everyone.
Yeah,
I'm
he's-
going to kill you.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
doesn't put on some phony Transylvania accent. Okay.
Didn't do that. He's like, hello, boys and girls. And he's got
Wow.
that, and he never, whenever he smiled,
Every time
He
I see
only-
an SUV slow down, I'm like, this is it. The cops are going to break it up. Anyway,
it was always him smiling like this because I was convinced that he was a real life fucking vampire.
I was like, yeah, he's
Also, that was
he's
your
got-
introduction
you never
to the
see his
man?
Teeth.
that was the first thing you saw of his.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then Ripley's Believe It or Not was after that. So we're talking,
Interesting.
this is,
Right.
I think it was 74 when that TV movie came out. And I'm
Gotcha.
like, fuck.
I'm going to look that up. That's some homework.
And I was, do you still have that vampire book I loaned you?
Yeah.
Excellent.
You want it back?
Eventually. Did you read it?
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
you gotta read it like first. I didn't loan it to you for kicks.
No, there was Mike had lent me this book that was essentially like his childhood guide to vampires.
Yeah.
It's pretty goddamn awesome. Like it goes through like
I would completely expect Mike to hang on to something like that.
Well, actually, Jules got it
Unfortunately,
for me.
Really?
Jules bought it for me. She repurchased it for me, but it was like I was 6 years old when I got it at a Scholastic fair. Thank God for my school, which was Catholic.
Vampire.
Yeah, I got a child's baby's first vampire book is essentially what it was.
Right.
But it's
But it's not that at all.
But it's really in depth, and it talks about like
It's a great read.
yeah, it's a really
I'm
great
sure.
read. But
And for 6-year-olds,
yeah,
compelling.
This is very, especially one who's like
these are things you need to know. in life.
then yeah, of course. You know,
Yeah, if you're going
How
to
to
stay up after
identify
8 p.m.
vampires, how to ward them off.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
You
Yeah,
see Ryan's collection of zombie books for that exact reason.
damn straight. But
I was
zombies-
preparing for the apocalypse.
He was.
for
Well,
many
he
years,
still
yeah.
is, but he's old and fragile, so he's just not going to be as effective as he would have
Yeah,
been.
no,
10 years ago.
I wouldn't survive.
No,
None of us would
now
be,
you're
no.
passing it on.
I
You-
would not survive.
Someone else is going to help
He
you.
shoot
so
himself in the leg and wait to be eaten.
Yeah, just end this.
All right, I'm done.
There's no
I'm
internet.
waiting.
There's no pizza.
Yeah, Ryan.
all the frozen goods,
There's
all
no
the good
bad
frozen
pizza.
pizza's
Yeah,
gone.
exactly. It's like the pizza's going to be frozen for days.
And
I
then
can't even eat this.
the zombies find out you don't eat pizza crust, and they're just like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, never mind.
They won't even eat
His
it.
brains won't even taste good.
Now I have to
if he
stay
even
alive.
has any.
Fuck that.
Yeah, Ryan gets apoplectic when the power goes out for 8 minutes, and he thinks he's going to survive the zombie apocalypse.
I have no patience for
What a
Ted
joke!
Adams like, there he is, guys. Go get him.
Ryan while he's being eaten. I don't even know you.
Yeah. He doesn't eat pizza crust either.
Why'd you come for me?
I control the legions of the undead. Sure you do, Ted
We
Adams.
got to get some animators on this like right away. That's what's going to happen during the hiatus. We're going to work on the Cape's equivalent of the Ricky Gervais show. We're just going to animate all this shit because this is priceless.
Hi, everybody.
Anyway, I put City Slickers as one of those films because as a kid it was funny. Because like, it's Billy Crystal. There's a lot of jokes, even though I didn't get everything obviously about aging or being husbands with kids or anything like that. But the thing that kind of hit me when I watched the movie, I want to say it was sometime last year, sometime in 2022. It had been a little while, and I watched it, and it kind of hit me, not in a way that it made me question my life. I didn't get like existential or anything about it, but the reason he's kind of panicking and freaked out at the beginning of the movie is because he's turning 39, and 39 came and went for me. So I'm thinking, oh wow, okay, that's. And he's freaking out about kind of being at this stage and just like, oh, it's my birthday's coming up and what are we going to do? And they go and wrestle cattle. But being of a similar age, I got a lot more out of it as an adult and just, even though, not married, don't have kids. Although, what's his, Bruno Kirby's character, I think Ed is his character's name, is a bachelor and is with a girl who he thinks he's going to marry. So, I mean, there is that element that there was something to, I guess, latch onto, except he's an athlete and I'm not.
Gotcha.
To say the least.
Daniel Stern also knocked up Yardley Smith.
Yeah, knocked up Lisa Simpson.
Yeah.
I mean, not really. Just she would go on.
Yeah.
She was Lisa Simpson at the time, but not an 8-year-old. That's not what we're saying. Good night, YouTube. But
That's it.
but that's a movie that I feel like, okay, yeah, that's definitely changed for me. Like as much as I enjoyed it, just as purely as a comedy, as a kid, like now I get a lot of the themes and a lot of things about adulthood and being at a certain age and kind of taking stock of your life. That was a good example for me. I don't know if you guys have any off the top of your head, but for the sake of continuing, giving you guys a moment to think. Another one I look at, which I saw because my parents rented it when I was a kid. I think 11 or 12. I think 92 was Son of a Woman. And it's interesting watching that because Chris O'Donnell's a high school kid. He's, I think, a junior because I think he's trying to get in. Yeah, he's trying to get into college. And, Al Pacino's, early to mid 50s. And it's interesting watching that now as entertaining as I thought it was. I thought it was slow as a kid because there were dramatic moments, but obviously Al Pacino being, Foghorn Leghorn was wildly entertaining and still is. I say boy, but watching it kind of in between the ages of those two characters now and getting like, oh man, I remember being 17 and awkward and just like, not that I was ever concerned about fitting in the way he was, but like a prep school like that, I couldn't stand, that type of kid going to public school. So if I'd gone to like an upscale private school like that, I would have lost my shit. And also looking at someone who's older and jaded and, you know, carrying their own emotional baggage with them, and also trying to save a younger person some trouble and maybe teach them a couple of lessons. And I get why people think movies cheesy and, you know, maybe a little hokey and, you know, stuff like that. I get why people don't like the movie, but that's when I look at kind of being in between those two characters, saying like, I get it, because I get how you end up that way at, let's say, 55, and how you start that way at 17, being in the middle of it. Like it's interesting kind of seeing, like, being able to see the perspective of both characters where it's got more weight. Ryan and Jack had never seen it, so we watched it last year when they came over. And that was fun, because having revisited that movie, I was like, oh, I think you guys are going to get a lot out of this. Because again, being in the middle of those two ages, I'm like, I think it's a different experience, you know, comparing it to when I was 12 and comparing it now.
And the fact that he was going to kill himself.
Yeah. Well, even the weight of that, where it's just like, this is not, you know, my life's over as far as I'm concerned. Even that, the weight of that is just like, fuck, that hopelessness is heavy. But you're like, shit, I get how he gets there.
Then he, you know, had the whole, you know, realization that he can be a mentor again.
Yes.
He doesn't have to, you know, his life isn't over, because he can still make a difference in this one kid's life.
Yes. And he also, and the kid also reminds him of the good things in life.
Yeah.
You know, driving a Porsche, you know, and driving, I'm sorry, it's not a
Maserati.
Porsche. Yeah.
It was a Lamborghini.
Ferrari.
It was a Ferrari.
Yeah, that's right. Very distant second. It's a Ferrari. Women.
That was fun. That was awesome.
Motorcycle cop is sweet nothing.
I watched Billy Madison the other day.
Yes.
Don't worry. Go ahead.
Billy Madison was, I've forgotten how stupid, but still that it had a little bit of heart in there.
Yes.
It had a lot of heart, honestly.
No, Happy Gilmore had a lot lot of heart. Billy Madison had a little bit of heart.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, it was mostly ridiculous.
Yes.
It was. It was supposed to be.
Movie.
It was absolutely. Oh my god! Of course, it was supposed to be.
That's my favorite of that.
Wait, which
of
one?
his movies?
Billy Madison.
Is Billy Madison.
Yes, I will go back to school and achieve
Veronica,
victory. I thank you for beating the shit out of me.
Oh, God.
That was pretty good.
No.
Hey kids, I bet you thought
I was dead. But I just fell over, got a hemorrhage in my head.
So hot. Want
I
to
love
touch
that.
the hiney.
That is one of his better movies. I do love that flick.
But that cemented Bradley Whitford as like the douchebag.
Yep.
And
It
it was
certainly
like,
did.
Who said, how's it going?
Hello.
hey, how you doing? Just
I was just
Podcast. You're good.
It's like, what is it? Does anybody know you're here? Yeah. He runs the place, believe it or not. So he allowed it. But take care. Be safe. Yeah, we'll see you on the way back. Clean up.
Yeah, Bradley Whitford had that laugh.
And he was the douchebag nephew in Son of a Woman.
Yes, he was.
It's like,
Very
you've been
much
working in
so.
the sugar business so long, you've got to taste the real honey. You know.
And also in My Fellow Americans.
You should go
Also
down on
played
her.
a douchebag.
He did play a douchebag in my phone.
Yeah.
God damn, that guy's got a niche.
He was. He
Yeah.
was.
Who knew? He's typecast.
pretty
And all
much-
the way up to Get Out, he's been a terrible person.
Yeah, and
I mean,
even in the
And
West
also,
Wing.
terrible people.
also in Handmaid's Tale. He is also a terrible
Is he?
person. in
That's
that
right.
Too.
Oh, see, I
Yeah.
don't have a vagina. I haven't seen that. Okay.
Adventures in Babysitting
Yeah, that's true.
And-
Wow.
and
Further
West
back.
Wing. Even
yes.
Josh
Yeah,
was
yeah.
a douchebag. You know
True.
who Josh was based on? Rahm
Ted Adams.
Emanuel.
No.
Yeah.
Ted Adams.
Ted Adams, get over here.
I was like, that has
Fuck you too.
I figured this is a setup. Yeah. And Ted, Chris, if you're out there, fuck you too. I'm gonna spend the night in a lockup.
No, that was
Mike's fault.
that's-
It's Mike's fault.
Rahm Emanuel.
Really?
Yeah. And you're like, who's Rahm Emanuel?
No. I know what you're talking about. I'm putting it
he was
together.
in
I haven't
the-
seen West Wing top to bottom.
He
I've
was in
honestly seen
the
it.
Clinton administration.
Right. Yeah, no,
And
I
he's
know.
also recently the mayor of Chicago,
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. That's right.
which is awesome.
Okay.
So
Is it?
I
I don't know. You're like, I don't go to Chicago.
It's a
I'm
honey
fine with it.
hole. It's a honey
Oh,
hole.
fuck what I know.
Exactly. What do I know? That was never mayor of Chicago. Not for lack of trying, but you know.
Right. Yeah. It's not too late. You know.
Very true.
You got one, Ryan, that you look at?
Yeah. So I was thinking about it, and when I think about the movies that I have fond memories of watching when they were on TV all the time, the one that comes to mind and that I've seen again recently is Lethal Weapon 3 for me.
Yeah.
Because not only does it still have the comedy of the first two.
Yes. More so than the first
a lot
two,
of darkness in the first two movies. There were still plenty of comedy. But, you know, in this one, you have that. You still have Joe Pesci. And then you have Murtaugh going through some heavy shit when he accidentally, not accidentally, but kills his friend's son.
Yes.
And then you have that moment between him and Riggs where they're really finally realizing that they're family, that they really are family.
Yeah.
And you have that balance, and then you have, you know, after that tragedy of his wife dying, you have Riggs starting to find love again.
Yeah.
So
again, because he kind of did Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah, again, and all these.
And they had to heinously kill her off.
All the
but,
women
you know.
he loves die. You know?
Yeah, it's now give me a complex.
And I always remember being a kid, and that would always be on TV. Like I'd be homesick from school, and I'd be watching Lethal Weapon 3 because it was just always on.
Right.
And you don't really realize that stuff when you're 9 years old.
No, you don't think about those.
But then when you start to get older and you grapple with mortality and aging and love and loss and all that, like it's all there in that movie. Plus the action, which is great too. So that's a movie that has sort of everything to me. It has the emotion, has the comedy, has the action, has, you know, those relationships that are being jostled around.
Because at that point, and I agree with
together.
that, and that is a lot of the reason why 3 is my favorite of the Lethal Weapons. I understand the argument, just like, it's a weak movie. It's like, okay, fine, but as a movie and overall, like Riggs can't be suicidal ongoing. Right, it's going to get old. Yeah. So I mean, we can't like
he's got to find something.
At some point. So at that point, he's like part of the Murtaugh family. Like right at the beginning, he's showing up with his laundry and kissing everybody good morning, including Roger. Right, and it's like. That is perfect. Like that's a natural evolution of the character, and not everything's just gonna be dark the entire time. But in the middle, there's that darkness of like, oh, you know, Raj killed one of Nick's friends. And it's like, oh shit, no, this is actually kind of heavy. Which sucks,
and I think
because
that was the first one that I actually saw. I think Lethal Weapon 3.
It's the first one I saw uncut. I know that it's on HBO.
First one was 87. Like I was 3 years old when that movie came out.
You're saying
like,
you didn't
watching that at the
really?
time.
You're a loss.
Yeah.
Your parents
my parents are like, look, you got to watch this movie that I brought home. I know you're watching like Looney Tunes, but here's Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, it's like here's Lethal Weapon. Here's a man putting a gun in his mouth repeatedly for the next hour and 52 minutes.
It's just like Wile E. Coyote. It's fine.
It's the same thing.
He keeps getting back up. It's fine. Well, not look, I realize not everyone's my parents where, you know, I watched Beverly Hills Cop at 7. Yes, unedited. The hour-rated version, you know, explains a lot.
Right.
I'm going to ask them about that in the fall when they do the show.
12 years old, you start watching action movies, and at that time in my life, that's what was on.
But the relationships, and you're right. Like there's even a part, and it's a silly moment, but in Lethal Weapon 4, which is probably the best scene in the movie, is that freeway chase. Yeah. And you know, Riggs is hanging on after the house that's under construction is. He kind of gets knocked out of that, and then he's hanging on by like a table. Basically, he's like riding a table at 65 miles an hour or something, and then the car's coming up behind him, and then Murtaugh has to speed up and knock the car out of the way so it doesn't run Riggs over. He's like, get away from my boy. Even just that line in that moment, just like, I don't know why that just gives, you know, the heartstrings a little tug for me. Cause it's like, because there is very much a friend element, and there's a big father-son element as well. Yep. And it's just like that means a lot just saying it that way. Cause it's like, oh my God, there's a lot of weight to this, which the older we get and, you know, the relationships you have with people, particularly, you know, that kind of non-romantic, sexless romance men have, like you and I have with each other. You know, it's like, I get that. Right. It makes sense.
It makes sense.
I'd love to see Lethal Weapon 7 where they're like retired and they're
we talked about that on last week's show.
They're retired and they're actually security guards at like an old rundown warehouse
at the retirement community.
Yeah. And you know, they go around killing
Riggs,
people. I think
he's parking without a permit. It's like, can you imagine? It's like they're
come on. He's in a handicap spot.
And it just turns
he's
into
too old for this shit.
Riggs outside. It's like, hey, the pool's closed to you after hours and to all Jews. Anyway, sorry. Listen, that's a Mel Gibson joke. That's not me saying that. That is a Mel Gibson joke. We went into detail about that last week. Separating the art from the artist. There's a clip everywhere you can find it. But you know, listen, Mel Gibson deserves getting the shit knocked out of him verbally, to say the least.
110%.
Yeah, right. Well, you have more reason to speak on that than we do.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't mind making a crack at his expense. But no, I agree. That is a good one. that the Lethal Weapon movies, even though I watched them as a kid and throughout my life, like they definitely have more weight to them now. Yeah, the older I get. How about you, Peggy Sue?
I mean, I'm going to give two just for
Go ahead.
for two different examples. The first one,
we got to kill time till the bars let out in 40 minutes. So go ahead.
First one,
then it's going to get wild.
I don't care. Great Muppet Caper. Great Muppet Caper. Great
I
Muppet Caper for me was like, I loved that movie as a kid, and I thought I got it. But then as I became a writer and someone who was really appreciative of that style of writing, and then when I finally watched it with like my eyes fully open, it's like, oh, there's joke after joke after joke after joke after joke.
100%
after joke, and I fucking love it. And almost every one of them lands.
And so many layers as an adult, like stuff you don't pick up on as a kid that as an adult, you're just like, fuck, that's funny. Like,
why are you telling me all this? It's plot exposition, darling. It has to go somewhere. Like
beautiful,
like fucking amazing.
Well, that was it. That was last May when you and Jack stayed over. Yeah. I sit down and show them movies. It's like they stay at my place to get away from the families. No disrespect, and without judgment. But I also like show the movies, so it's kind of like going to camp in a lot of ways. But they hadn't seen. I mean, Jack believes he saw them when he was a kid, but he remembered nothing about those original 3 Muppet movies, those Henson era Muppet movies. Mm-hmm. And I was like, we got to watch. We're going to sit down and watch all of them in a day, those first 3, because it's just on a comedic, like all the levels at the Muppets are great, but I'm like, comedically, like you're going to get so much out of it. And Muppet Caper was your favorite one, in part because Gonzo was your favorite for sure.
He is so fucking funny.
But there's so much more. Like as an adult, like you're like, this
Stop
is
the presses!
hysterical.
What happened? I just wanted to say that.
Oh, that whole opening scene, and I watch that constantly, just every time. What's his name? Jack.
Charles Roden?
No. The editor. What's his name? Jack. He was the brothers in used cars as well. Why am I drawing a blank on his name?
Jack Warden.
Thank you, Jack Warden.
Yeah.
When he's the editor, every time he smacks the table, something different flies off. Right. And they go, and they jump. It's so awesome. Like, how can you miss a story like that?
And then Gonzo
Raised?
taking the
How can
picture
you
of him
raise?
and he goes, ha!
Yeah,
Like,
Gonzo's laugh
every time.
kills him because it was
Look, the only reason I hired you two jerks was because your old man was a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Shows a fucking mutated version of Kermit and Fozzie's dad.
But to make it even better, which again I didn't get as a kid, but it's just like Dad would spoke well of you too. Yeah, well,
I don't want him to hear
I'm
this.
a sentimental guy, so I don't want him to hear this. And he puts the picture in a drawer.
You're fired.
This is like that's so funny. Like just from a comedy standpoint, I mean, I'm sorry, the Muppets are alive when you're watching the Muppets. Like those are.
They're characters.
No,
you forget.
Completely. Yes.
No, if you watch the Muppet Show, and I put that on here.
Oh yeah,
and it's
good,
tremendous. It's fantastic. But I'm sitting there watching it. This is like 1976, and
it was you were around. It was fresh and new.
Yeah,
I caught a reruns on Nickelodeon as a kid, but
brand spanking new. Yeah. Actually, if you go back and you watch the original Saturday Night Live,
the first season had Jim
Henson. All his stuff was in there. It's like, this is it. And it did not match up with.
Well, that was because the SNL writers hated writing for those characters, and they wouldn't let Jim have his people come do it. And people were like, "Well, where's the magic of the Muppets?" And he was like, "You fired them."
Yeah, but they also didn't know what Saturday Night Live was yet either. So I get them trying it. It's like, let's work to the Jimmy Dean show and prime time shows. So
and they were shooting for, and you had most of the writers from Lily Tomlin specials. And,
right.
Well, that's where Lorne Michaels comes from.
Right, from that crop of shows where like Jim Henson would do segments.
Right, and if you watch anything, they did Sonny and Cher show.
Yes.
One of their head writers was Steve Martin.
Right.
So you're like, holy fuck. And you're finding out that this is where that comedy's coming from. Mm-hmm. And then you watch The Muppet Show, and they had a lot of the same writers.
Yeah. The first season was actually show run by a guy named Jack Burns. And Jack was George Carlin's, like one of his first partnerships.
When it was Burns and Carlin, when they were a team. Yeah, he was his partner.
And what's really weird is you're watching and you see Joel Grey was on. They're like, hey, and our special guest this week is Joel Grey, and you're like, so he's on, and Kermit introduces Piggy to Joel Grey, and I know that, and he gives like his rundown, and he's married, and he's they live in Manhattan, and yada yada yada, and he's wearing spangles on everything, and it's rainbow and everything, and you're like. Even as a kid, I was like, he's married?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is also like magazines voting Liberace the most eligible bachelor back in that time too.
Yeah.
So it's like, ladies, he's still single. It's like,
There's a reason.
You're kidding.
Look,
Liberace unmarried, you say?
look at all the trim that guy's getting.
You know what's really funny
Where?
too is that if you actually pick up,
They mean fringe on his
They
outfit.
made,
That's it. Trimmed fringe.
they had written a biography on Jim Henson. So like,
The Brian J. Jones one?
yes, so good.
It is so good.
But you could tell, like, even with as ridiculous as those guests were, and sometimes like they were the utmost professionals. But it's really funny to me because the two that stick out in my head that they talk about in the book, they bring up Liberace, how he actually tried to sleep with the dude who plays Scooter because he was openly gay, and then fucking Raquel Welch. Even Jim was like,
yeah, I mean,
what's up?
I mean, that's peak Raquel Welch.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh my God,
any
yes.
red-blooded male would be like, except Liberace.
It's one of my
would be
favorite.
And Joel Gray.
And Joel Gray. Yeah, exactly.
God bless you, Joel, but no.
But that's look for
You
all
didn't
the.
fool a 6-year-old me. Sorry.
You heard it here. Incidentally, fuck Ted Adams.
And then the second film. Oh wait, you got
Oh
a
no, I
point
was
to
just
make.
going to say, any moment to talk about what an infinite creative genius Jim Henson was, but just the fact that on a show like that, I mean, it wasn't made to be a family show; it was an adult primetime show. But for Jim Henson to take Alice Cooper, 70s Alice Cooper,
Yes.
full blown 24 karat alcoholic Alice Cooper, and put him on the Muppet Show to perform "Welcome to My Nightmare" and stuff like that. I mean, that's.
Hey, where did these monsters come from? They're mine.
Exactly. Yeah, just how visionary that was, because it's like no one's putting this guy in prime time. Like, no way. This is a guy who's
Paul
like
Lynn.
getting banned.
Let's not.
Let's not
guilt any
forget.
lilies,
You're
all
saying,
right?
wait a minute. You're saying he was an eligible bachelor too, or we're talking about Alice
Paul
Cooper?
Lynn? Oh,
Whoa.
yeah. Let me tell you a little something about
I'm a
Paul.
stewaway. Get it? So, anyway,
That was one of our
that was on
fucking.
Bewitched, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When it was like they lift the pot and he's like his face is in a pot of like chili or something.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a stewaway. Get it? I didn't know I had a. I didn't know I had a Paul Lynn impression. By the way,
That was good though.
That was very good.
I've seen the Halloween special.
Oh,
Obviously.
That's all you need.
Amazing.
That's well. I mean, yeah, but that was more homework for you. See, I
loved it,
Mike takes
though.
care of you.
It's-
Yeah, you're his Al Pacino. You're Christian's Al Pacino. Yeah.
I'm a hooah.
You're a whore. Wait a minute.
That's me. Well,
Wow.
And then
Sorry, the second movie.
the second movie is
We got
this
on a
one's-
tangent, go
this
figure.
Well, this one's a little
Another
more ridiculous
Muppets movie.
because this one I didn't
Christmas
get.
Carol is the greatest movie ever.
This one I didn't.
Dickens adaptation.
This was one of those movies that I watched kind of too young, thought it was really stupid, and then never watched it again until I was about 22.
I have a few of those actually that I've gone back and be like, oh,
Airplane.
yeah.
Airplane is
yes.
that is
it's great.
so fast.
It
Yeah,
is great.
because I guess I just watched it way too young, and I was just like, this is bullshit.
But
I'm
also,
done.
but that's the thing. That's a movie that's unique on a lot of levels. But the idea that it completely transcended the movies it was parodying, because no one watches Airport anymore.
Hold on, no, it is a shot-for-shot remake of 0 Hour. A
Airplane's a
1954. It's
Oh, is it?
no, it's a well,
no,
yes
it's-
and no. It's almost a they have a term for it. And they do it in comic books all the time.
A remix, essentially.
Not well, yeah,
No,
like
it's-
that. Well, they take the original art and the original story.
Mhm.
They erase all of the dialogue
Mhm.
and they put their own dialogue
Right.
in there.
Right.
So, but if you watch 0 Hour, and you can find it on YouTube, they bought the rights to 0 Hour for $600, and this follows the exact plot
Mhm.
of 0 Hour.
Interesting.
So-
Except it's
And
funny.
it's
funny.
funny as shit.
It's so
and
funny.
they said that this is they did a computer analysis. This has the most jokes per minute of any movie ever.
See, I believe that.
I buy
Yes,
that too.
I believe that.
Yeah.
And
Because it's constant.
and most of the jokes land.
Yes.
Even now, even to this day,
Oh, yeah.
most of the jokes land.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd agree with
Airplane 2? No.
We
No,
don't
not so
talk
much.
about airplanes.
No, we
here.
don't talk- yeah.
We don't talk about
We don't talk about Caddyshack 2. We don't talk
You
about
ever been in
Airplane
a Turkish prison?
2.
No,
You like movies about gladiators?
I'm
And
serious.
I like how
Don't
the
call me Shirley.
escalation with Lloyd Bridges. Is
Oh, Lloyd
looks like
Bridges-
I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
He's
Looks like I picked the
he's
wrong week to
perfect.
quit
for
drinking.
my money is the best. Yeah, the best. My favorite.
Picked the wrong
character,
week to
best
stop
line.
sniffing
To
glue.
stop
Yeah, sniffing glue is the
Yeah.
best.
And
Like,
then it
that's
gets to that point of the
They're coming right at us.
Yeah.
I wish that more movies like that were made today. Like that, like that type
I don't
of.
think it's an audience for that. Though.
It's a bygone era.
Yeah. You
think so?
Unfortunately.
Yes,
There
because
aren't people who can.
the last one
I
people
don't know.
liked was Scary Movie 2, and that's 23 years ago at this point.
but like in an era
I've said
where
the same thing, but I'm like, nobody's that concept. Nobody likes anymore. Like Spaceballs stand on its own. You don't need to see. My sister's, as far as I know, has never seen the Star Wars movies. I think maybe she saw the original one at some point, but she loves Spaceballs. It might very well be her favorite Mel Brooks movie. It's probably neck and neck with Blazing Saddles, but Spaceballs stands completely on its own. But it's so much funnier if you know Star Wars.
Sure.
Obviously, if you've seen Star Wars and you
Or
know enough
any-
about it.
Any of them, Alien.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
you
God,
got-
yeah.
yeah.
Like that brand of sci-fi, it's so much better, but kind of stands
Top
on its own.
Secret.
And I don't know if Top Secret's underrated. That is an underrated.
Yes, it is.
film.
And
It's so
Hot
good.
Shots.
Oh, I love Hot Shots. Oh my god,
love Hot Shots.
I love Hot Shots. The original Hot Shots more than
And
Airplane, but I grew
Mafia?
up with that too. So
Mafia.
I like Mafia. I saw that in the theater.
Yeah. So did I.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I hadn't seen The Godfather yet, but it was funny just for being funny.
Yeah.
But it's enjoyable because the stuff those guys did was just really Kentucky Fried Movie. Oh my god, I love it. That's another one I tried showing to.
I've never seen
to-
Kentucky Fried.
Really?
No,
It's so good.
that's
And,
John Landis, right?
No, that's Amazon Women on the Moon.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
it's John
Kentucky
Landis.
Fried Movie.
Kentucky Fried Movie was
the Zucker
it was Pat Proft,
Pat Proft and the Zucker brothers.
The Zucker brothers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, no, that wasn't John Landis.
Yeah. No, that came out in ’74. That was always a midnight movie.
Yeah. Oh, that's just from the opening scene. The popcorn eating has been piston. Film at 11. Like the opening movie like that is genius. Like it's so good. But there's a chunk. I remember showing it to. Was I showing it to my sister and my girlfriend at the time? I think this is a couple of years ago in California, and they'd also never seen Enter the Dragon, and there is a nice chunk
No,
of
that's
Enter the
perfect.
Dragon
Oh my
parody.
God, yes.
But they just didn't get into it, and we ended up turning it off. And I'm like, you're missing out. I'm sorry. I will say the last movie that was able to tackle that successfully, that does have a following, and stands on its own is Black Dynamite.
Yeah.
That is a lot, but even that's 2009 at this point. But that's a rarity
I think
in,
that
in
I
the
think
modern
I think
era. I just don't think people.
I'm
look for
hopeful.
that.
I think we'll see it again. I think that because I think people are also starting to become a little bit tired of the superheroes, like a little bit. I know it's not like full on superhero
Yeah.
fatigue. Marvel movies still top the box office when they come out, but like
Well, certain ones.
Flash,
the good
Yeah.
ones
the
do.
good ones. But like,
Guardians
The cracks
did for
are
good
showing. People are grumbling, or they're like, kind of.
Mutant.
The-
I'm
that's-
roped in, so I'm going to keep watching
The
them. But I'm kind of
Disneyfication
tired
of
of it.
Marvel is
Yeah,
definitely much
but
more
then-
evident now.
but now here's my thing: is like, I think the Muppets could take up that spot. Like, I think
I agree.
Like a Muppet parody movie of a Marvel flick would be fucking great. Like Muppet take on Star Wars. Like, yes, please.
Oh, I watched that. That's my
Listen.
May the 4th viewing. It's Spaceballs and the Mark Hamill episode of The Muppet Show. Genius.
so
good.
but yeah, no, those are my two movies for sure.
That's a good one. See, I don't know when it comes to like comedy, and we're on last week's show we were kind of bemoaning the demise of the studio comedy, and it's kind of a shame people don't go see those movies
Rip.
anymore because comedies are people they just go to streaming. People aren't going to. Once upon a time, it was a movie found its audience in the theater, but now they find their audience on streaming. But a week later, everybody's moved on to the next thing and it also concerns me because you got to remember for the young, I'm sorry to pick on you, Gen Z, but you've earned this one. Comedy now is mimicking dialogue from something else that was actually funny on TikTok. That's comedy now. It's not actually doing something of your own. Like I've had a couple people give me shit on TikTok for it in TikTok comments because they're like, oh, you don't allow your stuff to be stitched. You don't want your opinions being challenged. I'm like, well, no. Responding to people's videos on TikTok, this entire ecosystem around it. And I'm like, no, I made my own video. You make your own video. You don't need to piggyback on mine.
Well,
sorry.
That's what happened
You know?
in the '70s. That's when we had that comedy revolution.
Mhm.
That's when Saturday Night Live. Actually, it's when National Lampoon came out.
Right.
That's when they left Harvard and they're like, fuck it, let's get rid of these old. There were some old and tired comedians out there who were just doing the same old shtick.
Yeah.
And they're
And
like,
the
"Let's
Rat
do
Pack
some-"
had sideburns just to
Yeah.
try to stay modern, but they were still doing comedies.
Exactly.
I think also the
Comedies.
problem is that a lot of the studio comedies that do have to kind of slip through the cracks to get made have to have some crazy like high concept thing with it to like justify its existence. Like, I mean, I love these movies, but the Ted movies is a good example of that by Seth MacFarlane. I love
Right.
those movies, but like I don't think anybody would have picked them up if it wasn't for the fact that the movie has a fucking talking bear in the middle of it. Like, I think
Which is the hook. For
Yeah, which
everybody.
is the
It's like,
hook.
it's a crude talking bear.
yeah, and it's I think
Who
they're
wants
great
to fuck?
movies.
Right.
Meanwhile, I also think that I don't know what this does for people's opinions, but I also
This is where
think that
people start tuning out.
I think A Million Ways to Die in the West is pretty underrated.
I think it's very underrated, and I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
I thought it was hilarious.
See,
I
I
think-
haven't seen it, and that's what I'm saying because people were just like kind of
People
down
were
on
just
it at the
shitting
time.
on it when it came out, and
Exactly.
I was like, no, this is fucking great. I saw it opening weekend with a crowd of people, and it was one of the coolest cinematic experiences I had.
Yeah, the crowd
I
was
was
into
like,
it.
I'm laughing at a Western in 2014. Like,
Right.
this is great.
Who would have thought
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
No, that's one I do want to watch because again, I do like watching stuff out of the without the hype of that's me opening the can. I was
No,
trying to
trying-
not get it on mic. You're like, what the fuck? What's hissing under the
too bad.
table? Like there's a boa
I get another
constrictor
one?
that's coiled up under it. It's gonna pounce.
No, I wanted one. I was juicing for another one, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can I get
you have
another-
this one?
No. Can I get another sparkling water, man?
That's the last one, so you can have it.
Oh, no. It's
No, you're working hard. Go ahead. You're gonna dump out of this when the cops pull up, so you've earned it
Very true.
in advance. Anyway, Ryan hasn't touched his shit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I
drink
have to
yours.
piss like a racehorse.
Do you?
I'm
Well, go.
holding off.
Go ahead. Yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. That's what
live streaming,
yeah,
right?
you're
So
kidding. This
that's
thing's
all
never
down
gonna
the
end.
sword?
We're gonna go all night
Do you want
Not
to
really.
do the reverse then?
of.
Movie that you loved when you were much younger, but then you watched it recently and you're like, ah, shit.
There's one that I watched on HBO a lot as a teen, and I thought was so funny. And then I watched it a couple of years ago on maybe like Netflix. It was a stream, or maybe it was on HBO or something on demand before the
What was
streamer
it?
for everything. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother with Gene Wilder. I remember thinking the movie was so funny, and then I watched it, and I'm like, there's nothing going on in this movie. I don't know what I found so funny. And, again, I'm not trying to criticize it necessarily, but I'm just like, I don't know what I saw in this movie when I watched it. But I remember watching it repeatedly on HBO, like in the 90s, and thinking, like, this is great. And then I watched it again within the last, like, 6 years. And I watched it all the way to the end because I'm like, this had something to it, right? I kept waiting and waiting and waiting. And then it ends on a very random moment.
Isn't that his directorial debut?
I think it might be. Yeah, I think it is. Because I think the last movie he directed was Haunted Honeymoon, which I think is underrated for what it is. It was him, Gilda Radner, Dom DeLuise. That was a really funny movie that I saw. Actually, there was an excellent double bill at the New Beverly Cinema in Hollywood, where I guess it was the stars also directed the films, and they were flops as a double feature because it was Haunted Honeymoon and Nothing But Trouble.
Oh, wow.
Which is a movie people hate, and I think is funny for exactly what it is. I enjoy it for exactly the mess that it is. But that's one that I remember watching and thinking, like, this is so funny. And I remember it came out on DVD, and for some reason I never picked it up. And then I saw it on HBO, and I was like, I got to watch that. Man, I haven't seen this movie in years, and just got nothing from it.
Gotcha.
You got one for that? I don't know if you've seen that, if that jumps out. That's a very random movie, but
Do you have anything, Christian? Because if you give me you go, I got.
you must have something that you're like, this does not hold up. There's a few. Our friend Corey, Ryan. Well, you've met Corey. He was on the show last year. He loved the Masters of the Universe movie as a kid. He has not seen it since he was a kid, and he was like, I don't want to ruin it for myself. He's like, I know I'm just going to see all the flaws and all the reasons it's cheesy. And he's like, I don't want to tarnish the memory, so he refuses to watch that for that reason.
Gotcha.
And again, I love that movie for all its cheese, and it's not a bad movie, honestly. Like it actually is a fun. I saw the anniversary screening of that. That was another one I went to in Hollywood, the Egyptian Theater, and the cast was there except Dolph Lundgren, of course, wasn't there, or Frank Langella, but everybody else was there, and Courtney Cox. Never mind, it was partial cast appearance was there, but like that was one. I'm like, this is a fun movie. I was saying how Corey won't watch the Masters of the Universe movie. He loved it as a kid, and he's like, I'm not watching. I know it because I know I'm going to hate it now, and I loved it as a kid. That's how he talks.
Oh, I know.
Go ahead.
And this is going to sound sus because we were just talking about it, but I watched it recently and it didn't do anything for me.
Okay.
Scary movie.
Yeah, the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
This I remember very much enjoying that when I was younger,
Right.
thinking it was very, very funny. And then I put it on very recently, and I was just like, why am I not laughing at any fucking joke?
At the time, it was perfect because those teen slasher movies were insanely prevalent. You know, so much so that I only saw Scream at the time, and then I didn't see Urban Legend or I Know What You Did Last Summer and those other ripoffs because I'm like, well, they're just gonna be ripoffs,
and they're all written by the same person.
But yeah, exactly. But
I know it. I do recommend. I Know What You Did. Though that was a good one.
No, I watched that in 2020 for the first time, and the second one, and Urban Legend.
Did you really?
I liked it. Yeah. I talked about. Oh no, I probably talked about it with Jack. Shock of Shocks. We did a show about movies.
Yeah, makes sense.
I hadn't seen those at all at the time because I was just like, well, they're all going to be inferior to Scream, and they are. But I Still Know What You Did Last Summer is so fucking awful. It's insanely entertaining. I love it. Every character makes the dumbest decisions possible in that movie. Like I Still Know What You Did Last Summer is a train wreck, so I actually like that more than I Know What You Did Last Summer because it's done so poorly. Christians bring up movies that like you loved as a kid. That's how we got into this, and then now you watch it recently and you're like, oof. You probably don't have any because you love everything except for Blade Runner and Independence Day Resurgence are the only movies you don't like. So every other movie you love.
Yeah. So. Listen, there's a bunch that I could list, but I'm just like, you know what? I don't feel like
do you need more time
right now.
No, I'm good.
Okay, all right. He's got one. So.
Yeah, Real Genius.
Really?
Real Genius.
If you ever with
Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer.
86?
No, he's 85. It was 85.
Okay.
85. It might have been 86. Melanie Mayrank, who I think is adorable in this movie, but I loved the movie when it came out, and now I watched it, and I'm like, yeah, there's some shit in there that
doesn't hold up.
Doesn't hold up, and there are a lot of movies like that, like Revenge of the Nerds does not hold up.
Really?
Oh my god,
no.
Really? I mean, there's some inappropriate stuff in there for sure.
Very
like,
there are moments in that movie that still hold up, but as a whole, it is kind of a
there's some.
It's a slog.
There's some Me Too stories in that movie for sure. But,
exactly, and them making Lamar into such a flagrant and
cartoon
flaming,
character.
Yes,
a cartoon character.
Such a caricature.
Yeah,
and it's got what's his name? Married Mrs. Mr. Melissa Gilbert. God, what the fuck's his name? Redhead.
He married Gilbert.
Yeah, Melissa Gilbert. Damn it,
Anthony Edwards.
No, close. Timothy Busfield. That's who it is. Timothy Busfield was in it. He played the blind dude, the guy who couldn't see shit.
The glasses and all that. Yeah.
But just so many things about that movie are like kind of detestable.
I mean, there's actually the moment of, and I remember this is the one thing aside from the borderline rapey and violating moments of it, like spying on the girls, the spying on the sorority.
That's
and stuff
my
like that.
pie.
There was a pie that I was like, oh yeah, this was okay in like 84, wasn't it? Was at the end when they're going to speak. And no, not the being a creep part, believe it or not. But it's, I mean, we all love Bernie Casey, but there was this moment when Anthony Edwards is going to speak to everybody about being a nerd, and John Goodman as the coach is about to like interrupt him. And then Bernie Casey walks up. It's like, all right, now you just hold it right there. And then just like 3, 4, 5 other big black guys just go line up next to Bernie Casey, stand there and cross their arms, and John Goodman backs down. It's like, okay, that's what we're doing. That's the message we're sending is like, got it. Let them speak. I brought some boys with me. Okay.
Yes.
Like and with this like very stereotypical funk synth music playing as these guys are walking up.
No, actually that was We Are the Champions was playing.
No. When those guys walk up, like it's literally it's for that 12 and a half seconds, the guys are all lining up next to
Oh my
Casey.
God, yeah. Like,
and it's like, wow, this is right out of the
Mandingo. Yeah, holy shit. Yeah. Like, oh my God, I can't believe that
they looked up the insensitive stereotype handbook and they're like, we need this kind of music. Seriously. Make it happen.
Listen,
Adam and Goldberg almost wrote not almost. They partially filmed a remake.
Really?
Revenge of the Nerds. And then halfway through, they were like, this is a horrible idea.
I feel like that's...
shut it down. They filmed like 2 weeks, and then they were like, nope.
Wow. That's, to me, that whole nerd versus jock thing is more of like a myth and a tall tale than an actual thing. The jocks were always fighting each other, at least when I was growing up. Like, it was never like, we're going to stuff these nerds in lockers. It was a very, like, story-friendly, battle. But, like, I don't remember growing up, like, actually seeing that. Where it's just like nerds are getting stuffed in lockers. Like the jocks just hated each other. Like if they hated anybody, they like hated each other. Or
Yeah,
they
they
hated,
hated- they
we're gonna beat the Wildcats, yeah, or whatever.
like.
But they weren't
fuck
like
the basketball players. You know?
exactly. Like the other jocks, they weren't just like seeking out like nerds.
Yeah, the
like,
football
stuff in
players are like
lockers and
going
push
after the
books out of
baseball
their hands.
players. Yeah,
that wasn't
Yeah,
a
like
thing
that wasn't
when we were
actually
in
a
high
thing. Like
school.
it was
Yeah.
fine in movies, but
You know what's really fucking stupid? Probably is the fact that is probably true. Is that it really wasn't that big of a dynamic?
Yeah.
But then
but we're
idiot
gonna milk 6 movies.
But then my idiot generation saw that on TV and was like, "Oh, that's what should probably be happening." And then that's actually what I know some people experience.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm not saying it never happened, but
I
it
was
wasn't
like,
prevalent
no, I
as-
knew fucking people.
as it was made out to be.
Because I remember being much younger and being like, well, I don't really want to talk about my love of like comic books and all that type of shit. Because I was like, I don't want to fucking get picked on. And this is, I mean, pre-MCU and all that bullshit.
Well,
but like, even then, it was like,
liking Star Wars wasn't cool until 12 years ago. You can't
exactly.
That took 35 years to actually be, socially acceptable.
Yeah, I was on the front lines for that
Yeah,
fucking
I
one.
was gonna say, like, you would know if anybody.
But yeah, they were dicks.
Mhm.
Trust me. I mean, I went to the school that all of us got picked on, even the brains and the jocks. But
Mhm.
you know, who fucking cares?
And that's it. Like everybody kind of gets picked on, but
we
it's
all
definitely
had
like
our
a
own
story
little
from-
cliques. You know, I had my buddies, and
Mhm.
it was.
You didn't fuck with me. I didn't fuck
nobody,
with you.
Exactly.
Nobody actually paid attention. That's what I'm saying. Like no one really was paying attention to the other groups.
Exactly.
Not like
And
themselves.
another one that doesn't hold up is Ferris Bueller.
Really?
No, watch it, and it does. You're like, holy shit, is he a piece of crap?
So yeah,
I mean,
and,
yeah,
that-
he's
and
not-
that's the thing. Yeah, I was reading an article about that recently. How when you're his age, you root for him. You're like, yeah, like fuck.
Now
go to
I'm rooting
school.
for Rooney.
Yeah, you're rooting. Yeah, and that's exactly what this person was saying who wrote this article.
Well,
You-
not
you little
Rooney per
bastard.
se,
Yeah,
because
not Rooney per se,
yeah, because
but-
he's a fucking pedophile.
Well,
so,
yeah.
you
you
know,
realize that
is,
Ferris
yeah.
Bueller is a lying con artist.
he's a piece
And
of shit.
He doesn't care about anyone around
No,
him, really.
just he's a
He
sociopath.
treats his best friend like shit.
Yeah.
And he's a sociopath.
His
exactly.
family is just like
he lies
secondary.
to his parents.
Yeah.
Like
His family,
Constantly.
his family doesn't
Yeah.
deserve him being an asshole. the
No.
way he is.
But when
I'll
you're
agree
a
with that.
teenager who doesn't want to go to school and doesn't care about anything, you're like, yeah, Ferris Bueller, he's awesome, he's
Yeah,
an
exactly.
idol. But when you get to be older, a parent, an authority
I get
figure,
why.
you're like, fuck this kid. He's a lying piece of shit.
Yeah,
He doesn't care about any of the destruction that's left in his wake.
of course. Yeah.
Or how he treats people around him. Like,
I mean, but I feel like Ferris Bueller falls into the camp of it's not necessarily like it's a bad time to watch now as much as it is just like glaringly different, like how the
You don't-
times have changed.
Well, you don't identify with it in the
Yeah.
same way that you did when you were a teenager or an adolescent.
'Cause,
like
like,
now you
you
look
can-
at it, you're like,
Because listen, if you want to have that discussion, that's like almost all of John Hughes' movies.
Yeah, there's definitely a moment like I don't revisit 16 Candles or Pretty in Pink a whole lot.
Yeah.
I'll admit. I do like in the same way like you could probably understand the Breakfast Club a little bit better from less from the kids' point of view and more from Paul Gleason's. So I don't know if they were filming us or what.
Oh, Ted. Oh, Ted's funny.
Oh, yeah. And fuck you, Mike. Whoa, he's here.
Fuck
pulling.
you, eating pizza
And if
crust, motherfucker.
and if you're the synth funk music, he's bought a gang of black guys with him to line up and tell you to shut up.
All right, you're gonna listen to me now.
I just hold it right there. Yeah, that's one. I get it. And even I remember talking about this actually on the old show. I mentioned it that there was back when this is 2014, the job I was working in, and I was in early 30s, and there was another guy my age, and there was a kid who was working there who was like 25, and we were talking about the Breakfast Club, and this 25-year-old kid had never seen it, and the guy who was my age, his point was, well, I don't know if those stereotypes existed the same way when he was kind of going to school. He said, because it was more, I feel like there was more distinctive. Like you can kind of tell people kind of what they were a mile off by like how they dressed and who they hung out with. He's like, I think that's something that's kind of gone away. And I get it because like, I think now every teenager's wearing Crocs and an anime t-shirt or a hair metal band t-shirt. It's just like, you kind of don't know what any of them are about. They all look the same.
Yeah,
So
or
kind of can't find the goths or the hip hop heads or like the metal kids or anything. Like everybody literally looks the same now. So I think that's something that kind of went away where that movie's not necessarily going to hold up in the future because I don't feel like there's that distinction between like there's the jock, there's the rebel, there's the goth, there's the prissy entitled girl. Like I don't think those stereotypes exist. I feel like they exist even less now, but in 2014 I kind of understood his point of like I don't think they're as prevalent now as they used to be.
I think there's always going to be that prissy girl there's always going to be the outsider girl who feels like I mean,
no, I agree. I think that it's not necessarily a thing of like they're going to go away as much as I think it'll just shift.
Yeah.
Like I think the meaning will still be there, but it'll look way different. Like, I mean, like.
You think that movie's going to resonate though in like another 20 years?
Which movie?
Breakfast Club.
I could see it. Yeah. I feel like.
And obviously I love the movie, but
every generation sort of has their own kind of Breakfast Club. Like there was Mean Girls.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
which is
I mean, that was only a couple of years after,
right?
But
what
still,
was the Bo Burnham movie that he just did? His directorial debut is one of them that I would consider.
I don't know offhand what that is.
I'm trying to remember what it was.
The thing that's funny, I think about
Eighth Grade. Eighth Grade is one of
that was his movie.
Yeah,
I thought that was Olivia Wilde's movie.
No.
What was the one she did?
Was,
she did another one about. Okay, I don't remember.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, it was another one about like a middle school kind of thing. I forget what it was. Okay.
But I do think you're right. Like, there is a Breakfast Club style movie. Like, it comes out like once every generation.
Mm-hmm.
But then I do think that while the characters can shift and the meanings can mean different things, I think that at the core, I feel like people can understand those experiences of like the pressure and like those type of things. Because I feel like Breakfast Club, yeah, it is a film of its time, but at the same time, these are people dealing with very human experiences.
So you think the archetypes will hold up?
Yeah,
ultimately,
big time.
Even if they don't look the same, they will.
Yeah,
you think those?
There'll be a jock, a nerd, nerd girl.
Except Bender will be a butch lesbian next time.
Well, probably.
Yeah.
It's gonna.
I thought he was a butch lesbian in the first one. So
it's gonna look like a McDonald's commercial. There's gonna be a lot of diversity. It's not gonna be 5 honkies, but which I'm fine with, by the way. But the funny thing about Mean Girls, which I find hilarious, that movie in itself was great. I remember seeing that at the theater. I was just like, this is genius. This is nailed. Like, this is the first teen movie that's actually really good. That's not a slasher from the 90s. But the thing I find funny is now let's say the high school age young ladies who saw it at the time are now the ones wearing, the shirt, because there's merch like crazy. I feel like Mean Girls is more prevalent now than it was 19 years later. But they're now wearing the shirts like, I'm not like other moms. I'm a cool mom. Meanwhile, Amy Poehler was the butt of that joke in that movie. Like
the whole time.
I'm the middle-aged mom who like still wants to be in high school and like pretends to be her daughter's best friend. And her daughter doesn't want me in the room when she's hanging out with her friends kind of thing. And now a lot of these girls are grown up like, oh, I'm the cool mom. Just like she was. Like, no, she wasn't a cool mom. That was the whole
She wasn't
point
cool
of
at
her.
all.
That was the whole point of the character. They did not want her around, but she wanted to wear sweatpants. Like, so it's a gossip. It's like, no, nobody.
Yeah, no, get out of here, Ma.
I feel like that satirical part of it was kind of lost on a lot of these, because I see a lot of, in social media age, I see a lot of TikToks and Instagram posts.
A little ironic.
A little bit. It's a shame that they didn't follow through on that, because I thought that was genius at the time, because we all knew those like moms who didn't want to admit, or who wanted to still be tight, like best friends with their daughter, who was, at that point, a lot of mothers and daughters are worst enemies. I'm reliably informed. So
yeah,
I always found that amusing.
Indeed.
Anybody got questions about growing up in the 70s for Mike? We have to have more of those, because like we talk about SNL, Muppet Show.
God,
what else we got?
Holy
Star
shit.
Wars just came up.
Like, I don't want to talk about it.
It's like, I frankly don't want to.
It's just too fucking depressing.
Well, I got one, because we haven't really gotten into it too much, but I am curious. Now, this wasn't in the can. I'm just asking because I thought of it. But what is it? Because obviously music is kind of the root of all my inspiration for a lot of things. But like, what is it you grew up listening to? Like, I know you're a Bowie fan. I don't know if that happened like necessarily in the 70s. I know you're not so much a Springsteen fan. Like, what was the stuff you were listening to growing up?
I was listening to my brother's stuff. I have 5 older brothers. I mean, I listen. My God, Beatles, Stones. I mean, all the
you had a whole record collection at your disposal.
Literally. Oh my God, did I? I mean, and I loved them all. The artwork and the liner notes. Holy shit! Even though the Beatles were horrible about liner notes, but the Rolling Stones were surprisingly great at them. So you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I probably had the best musical taste of any of my classmates, which is not saying much because they were all listening to David Cassidy and shit. So.
Oh well, yeah, that's
you know
true.
what? I relate to that because my dad would play. My mom and dad would make it a mission to play like the best stuff around the house for me. And then I was also at a young age. My dad taught me how to use like a vinyl record player. So very young, I knew like this is precious.
Yeah.
So like I would be able to access his vinyl collection. So like I would go into class and be like, "Yo, you guys hear that Bill Withers?" And they're like, "Who the fuck?" And that was the same with TV shows because we were talking about this too. Because my dad and my mom raised me on basically anything but Disney in the early years of my life.
Right.
So they would show me shit like HR Puff and stuff. And I'd go into school and I'd be like, "Yo, did you guys watch HR Puff and stuff last night?" I'd be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, Cortez?" And I'm like, "Nothing. These are just great."
Like this is the show. I watched it last night. You guys didn't watch it? They're like, "We never heard of this."
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, yeah, my dad threw in a VHS tape. It's like, what the fuck's a VHS tape?
That's different because there were still VHSs when I was growing up. So they knew what that was. What?
He was born in 95. Yes, there were actually.
Yeah.
So VHS didn't get phased out to like 02.
Don't try to call me out on some bullshit.
Yeah, because you're like no teen years old. Feel like I should be telling you to get off my lawn.
Wow.
You can stop loitering in front of my store.
I like that extra detail of ass.
He's a
Fuck
baby.
you, Ted.
Yeah.
He's a baby.
Yeah. Fuck you, Ted Adams, for making Christian feel young
how
and
about-
mine feel old.
We're just old.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
It's my fault.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
not- it's not his fault.
Yeah, but we're going to
Taking
hold
it
this
out on him.
We're going to hold his youth against him anyway. His youth and his talent.
Yeah, you whippersnapper.
God damn it. What is it you've stuck with though? Like, what is it you still listen to? Because that's a whole other episode. Definitely could be.
Oh man,
music you still
I
to.
listen
What is
to
it you've
classic,
hung on to?
all classic.
Yeah?
80s mostly because I got to share that with my youngest son. Daniel loves the 80s, so yeah.
Nice.
And Bowie was huge
Good
in
man.
the 80s, man. Huge.
Well, it was mainstream for the first time, really. Like,
yeah.
She was still an alien in the 70s in a lot
Yeah.
of ways, but the Thin White Duke era was like commercial music,
yeah.
intentionally commercial, music. Obviously, Let's Dance is perfect dance.
Of
Like, it's
course,
an
yeah.
excellent
I mean,
dance
when
song.
you-
It tells you
works.
exactly what
Yes.
he wants you to do.
When you realized Daniel was kind of into the same music as you were, what was something where you were like really excited to show him and he had the exact response that you were like, yes.
Yeah, like was he
Fuck
like?
yeah.
I can't wait to introduce him to
Like
this.
Phil Collins and Phil Bailey, like the Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yes.
Yeah, and
That's a
Easy
strong
Lover
guess.
was a great one, and the fact that Ted Lasso used it in Ted Lasso, I was like,
well,
that's fucking awesome. So yeah, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be cool. And I we used to cut or burn. I'm sorry, we used to burn like
You're on mix.
travel CDs. Yeah,
So
And-
wait.
yeah.
Oh man.
So
burning
when
CDs.
we were driving down to Julia's parents down in South Jersey, we would pop that in when the kids were in their toddler seats.
Mhm.
And yeah, they'd
That's
be
why
singing
Guardians
along.
resonated with me too, because I was like, I had my own awesome mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My boys still do. They both have their CD collections of
Oh man,
Yeah.
That's so dope.
Your heart's all warm right now.
I honestly I didn't have that. I discovered a lot of music just listening to the radio. Like I didn't get that from my parents. My mother grew up very, very white. She was listening.
I'm so sorry.
I mean
Yeah,
that.
mine
Like,
too.
Yeah, like my mother was like, like Perry Como was edgy. Like that was,
Yeah.
and Andy Williams was where it was at.
And
It's
there
it's
you go.
like
Oh my, they were panty droppers.
white hot. Yeah. Literally.
My father used to listen to WPAT, the voice of the
Oh my
North Jersey
God.
Shore. So, and if they were all fucking
I
instrumentals,
thought
and I'm
of that in
like,
30 years.
yeah, I know, right? But it's like, holy shit. And I used to say, hey, Dad, can we change the channel? He's like, fuck no. And touch my radio. I break your fingers.
Right.
When you drive, you can control the radio.
Yeah, it's your
When
car.
I started,
It's
when I
your-
started to drive, he's like, no, I'm putting on WPAT, and fuck you. Keep your eye on the road.
Just
lovely. My mother did. She eventually evolved to as far as she got into, I'd say, mainstream music. I mean, look, she was like James Taylor and Carole King, which is also of the it's definitely the boomer generation. But like, she does have one record from the Fifth Dimension, which is
wow.
like that's that's a curveball, right? Among those other, among that Andy Williams Christmas record. But my dad had much more, like he was much more dialed into like, to 60s music and doo-wop and all that. Like I never got into rock music, was never Beatles or Stones or anything like that, but like doo-wop and, R&B. My mom did a Motown record. She's a lot of 45s, like Motown 45s and a couple of Beatles ones. But yeah, my sister and I kind of just grew up on 80s radio. So like we didn't have that handed down to us. And she's only 3 years older than me. So we had similar enough taste, except I was not nearly as into New Kids on the Block as she was. I realize I'm glad you're sitting down when I'm telling you this, because I realize that the
real
room
shocker
is spinning. But yeah, like we very much were just like, as the Journey album is titled, raised on radio. So we kind of didn't have anybody handing it down to us. So that's why I love hearing about like your parents doing that, or even like you having older brothers to do that.
Well, I'll tell you one really cool story about my dad. My dad was an old timey doctor, family doctor, not family guy.
Yes, old-time family. Like out of a Norman Rockwell painting, Family Doctor.
Exactly. He had that print in his office.
No shit.
Yeah, no shit.
So I thought I was being too on the nose, but.
So we drove down to Florida. My dad used to love that drive, and I was 17. I was 17 years old, and we're driving through this little shit Splatberg, going down to visit my brother who went to Rollins College in Winter Park. So we're driving down, stop at this, swear to God, like South Carolina, North Carolina, South Carolina, maybe even Georgia. But we stopped there to grab dinner and to, find a hotel. We were splitting the trip up. So we go into this place and the Dell Vikings are playing. We go in for burgers and stuff. And the Dell Vikings are playing. And my father's like, "Oh my God, I haven't heard these guys in years." And I'm like, "Holy shit." And then they're, singing "Come Go With Me." And I'm like, "This is fucking great." I said, "You haven't heard these guys in years." He's like, "Yeah, hold on 1 second." He goes up to the bandstand and just looks at the lead guy. He's like, lead guy's like, just hand signals. And my dad comes back, sits down, starts eating his burger again. And I was like, "What's that about?" He said, they'll come over and talk to us. You get to meet them when they're on break. I'm like, "Oh, cool. All right." I said, "Well, how the hell do you know them?" He's like, "We'll talk." And so they come over and they all sit down. They're like, "So Dr. Zapsik, how the hell are you?" They served in the Air Force with my dad.
What?
So and my dad my dad took care of him for.
Your dad was medical then in the Air Force.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he did it like an internship over there. And when they got out, they kept going to my dad because he was in Miami and they lived in the area. So my father took care of the Dell Vikings. And I was like, "Wow, holy shit." I was like, and I'm like, "That is amazing." And it's like one of those things that what are the odds of us driving to this place, the Dell Vikings, the original Dell Vikings,
happened to be there that night at this in like the event space in the hotel.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Yeah, it was like not even at the hotel. We were just driving around looking for a place.
Okay. And you happened to pass by.
Just happened to go there, and it was like, and they didn't even have a sign saying Dell Vikings here tonight. You
just walked in and they were
walked in and they were there.
Wow.
So I was like, "Holy shit!" And just like a little glimpse. And that's one of the coolest things that has ever happened between me and my dad, or it had ever happened. But I got a glimpse into like his life before he got married.
Right.
So I was like, "Wow, that's fucking insane." So
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is really, really awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, right?
That's a great story.
Wow.
That full circle moment.
Yeah, I know.
In a lot of ways, just especially seeing them years later, and wow,
yeah,
in
the wild
story. Yeah, and it randomly could have stopped somewhere else.
Yeah.
The trip could have started on a different day and wouldn't have happened. It's literally just insane timing.
Yeah, and my dad used to take care of Melanie. Brand new roller skate.
I got a brand new
rose.
Yeah, what's come on, you know who?
You got a
who, I don't have
brand
the
new
name
key.
offhand. Do you have the name? Come on, you know.
Of what?
Of her. Yeah, the singer.
Melanie. That's her name.
Oh, that was her whole name.
Yeah, Melanie.
know.
Well, I forget her last name. But
Well, I don't know. I was just like, if you said Tiffany, I would have been like, oh, really? like that's fine. But just like
Cher.
Melanie, I'm like, I'm waiting.
Melanie.
Melanie,
Different Tiffany.
like Melanie Whitman. Oh, okay. Like I was waiting for something. Like, huh?
No,
I didn't know
just-
her full name was okay.
Well,
Got
that's
it.
the
That
one
was
she
the
used. It was
performer.
Melanie.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
Okay,
that was
before
actually.
my time.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. I figured.
She gave out like she gave my father like a bunch of records too. It's like, here you go, give them.
If she didn't perform at the mall, I didn't know who she was.
She might have. You never know.
I mean, well,
Over by the roller skate factory. There you go.
apparently, yeah, the roller rink at the mall, maybe. It's oddly quiet around here. I don't think any bars or anything else. 204.
No, it's
I've been at this for 2 hours. I was expecting a whole lot more
Weirdness.
Yeah, well, honestly, I kind of
We
was.
had-
And I'm not that I'm running out of gas by any means. You two are actually very upbeat, and I'm happy to see it. Like,
Yeah.
I thought there was a point you guys going to run out of gas. Like,
No, we're starting to. I'm looking
Yeah.
over to Ryan. I'm like,
I'm
yeah, he's
losing a little
flagging.
bit of steam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, but a
yeah.
little bit. But after 2 hours, I'm impressed, honestly, because I kind of didn't know, and that was part of the fun. I'm just like,
Oh yeah.
like if you started nodding off, I was going to actually text Christian and just be like, "What should we do to Ryan while he's asleep?" Can you put up a poll in the comments and have people, thumbs up, thumbs down? What
I'm
we should
not
do to
going to give you
Ryan?
the satisfaction.
Well, not yet. Tonight's as young as you'll ever be, Ryan. It's not too
Guess
late.
what? You're getting Ted Adams.
Yeah,
That's all.
You might get Ted Adams before you know it. We're going to shove uneaten pizza crust in your ears or something.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Lord, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
it's just like that's a good waste of pizza crust.
Yeah,
Chris.
so
Don't you
why-
dare.
Why would you do that?
How would you?
Why are you putting hate on Ryan like that?
Why
He
besmirch
agreed to
sacred?
He agreed to do this for
pizza
you for
crust is
fuck's sake.
sacred?
Jesus, and exactly. The wasting of the
How dare you?
pizza
Wasting of
crust.
pizza crust is the
How
most
dare
egregious thing. Like abusing Ryan is fine, but wasting pizza crust not okay.
No, I'm
I won't
good
have
with
it.
neither.
I will not
Mm.
co-sign that.
No.
Well, give it time.
No,
Trust me.
no,
He'll
I
learn
like Ryan. No, I hate to tell you.
All right. Well, I hate to hear it too.
Oh.
Well, no, there was a whole busload of kids. We had like a whole field trip that showed up before the show, and I was like, it'd be really funny if they came back. As far as we were concerned, they were all 12 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they were. Yeah, I mean, they may
I'm
have been
pretty sure a
21.
couple of those girls were 12 years old.
They might have been.
There were a couple who were older, and then there were two little girls. I was like, you're
Yeah, I don't know.
You're
Like
fucking
they could have
13
they could have been pixies,
tops.
or they could have been 13.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
jailbait either way.
Well, that's it. It's just like they're walking around in belly shirts. Like
Yeah.
they could very well be 13. And
Ugh.
in that case, I'm just going to keep talking to the guys they're with because taking no chances.
This is
No,
when my
no.
daughter's going to be
Looking-
fucking locked up in a tower.
Is that right? You're already
Good
that
man.
guy.
When I see that like out in the streets, I'm like, no fucking way.
You don't think so?
That's
Smart.
my daughter.
No, you're
Are
smart.
you going to
man.
be like, you're not wearing that out, are you?
Mm-mm.
So you missed that. You had
No, you
Thank
two
God,
boys
yeah.
march your ass back right back up there.
What do you think? I'm like,
Get-
hey,
get you-
hey, boys, hope you get lucky tonight.
Yeah, Oh my God, who was it? There was an excellent. I don't remember who mentioned it. Who the story? It was in Richard Marx's excellent autobiography. But so he has 3 sons, and I forget one of his friends. I don't remember if it was someone celebrity or not, like a recognizable name, but who had daughters. I think this guy had a daughter or multiple daughters. But he was just like, you're lucky. He's like, because you have 3 sons, you only have to worry about 3 penises. I have to worry about millions. I was like, that's an excellent point. Wow.
Yes.
That is perfect.
Yeah,
And
then especially
Yeah.
if your daughter is even the least bit attractive, you're a dead man. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think you would have been that dad? You would have been like, you're not going out like that. Like, would you?
No, I would have been that. Oh,
You
I
absolutely would have been that if you had a daughter.
Fucking going out like that.
Yeah, he's
You can-
already.
I still get jealous. My
Oh, to
wife
God,
talks
I don't have a
to
clue.
other guys, and she has to fucking do it for her job. So, yeah, I'm like, you can. I get that. How many times have I threatened to kill you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
And we do a show together, and you're just like,
Personally,
what the fuck?
First, say good morning.
I say good morning. I hug Julia. I look over and I see Mike.
The fuck you doing,
Yeah, like,
motherfucker?
who the
What
fuck
you
are
doing?
you?
Hey, asshole! She's spoken for. Like, all right.
Oh, is she? I didn't know.
you
I'm
missed
sorry.
grab the hands.
Where's that hand going, Christian?
Yeah. It's like I only hugged her with one arm.
Yeah, seriously.
The other one has a sandwich in it. It's like the other. What? That wasn't a fact. I'm just.
Holy
I just
shit,
needed
man!
something to find. The other one has pizza crust in it. Fine, all right, you want to bring it back to that? It's all right. As I'm
Pizza crust is even worse,
finishing
man.
the slice of pizza.
Because he did not eat the pizza crust. Is that what you're saying? Oh my god!
No, I was saying he hadn't finished it yet. That's how important Julie. I'm making this worse. Anyway,
Yeah,
thanks for tuning in.
Just keep digging.
I'm taking boys.
Boy,
Yeah.
good thing I'm
Everyone's
wearing
digging.
boots. This stuff's getting deep. All All right. Well, I say we've done it. I was waiting for more stragglers, and I don't want to overstay the welcome.
Red Bag, where you at?
Yeah, where the fuck is everybody?
Shh. I got neighbors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do people live, or is this this a facade? Do people live?
People live. Yeah.
Oh shit. Someone should have called
Sorry.
the cops. I'm kind of I'm disappointed. I wasn't looking forward to being busted up by the cops tonight,
sorry
but I was open to it.
Hey,
Yeah.
shut up down there.
Yeah, right.
What
are you doing?
Yeah. Good morning,
What are you
doing?
I just shot a man and I want to confess. Hey, shut up down there.
That movie turns 30
Ted
today.
Adams lives right over there.
I'm watching you, scumbags.
Yeah, I keep seeing a red dot float around here. I thought it was just a kid with a laser pointer, but apparently not.
Nope, it's Ted Adams.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck you guys up.
Oh, fuck.
You know what the shame of it is? This episode stays in the vault if we find out something happens to Ted Adams between now and Monday morning.
No.
Just never. Well, this is live stream,
This
so
should
it's
be
out
a
there.
special.
Wait.
In the tribute.
Yeah,
It's like stirring tribute to Ted Adams.
If something were to happen, I would want you to
This
release
is all
this,
very New Jersey. If something were to happen to Ted
If
Adams.
something were to happen to Ted Adams,
Listen, something happened to Ted Adams, all right?
I
Paulie doesn't know
unfor-
anything about it. Still don't know anything about it.
I
Yeah,
unfortunately want you to go through every moment where we say his name and dub it with something else.
That would be
The clerk's
awesome.
cartoon, Al Pacino.
Yeah.
It's like Dustin Hoffman would not allow his likeness to be used in
He
this cartoon.
stabbed himself in the back 4 times.
Richard
threw himself
Dreyfuss.
off the
Let's do
bridge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss. Yeah.
You just got Richard Dreyfuss. Did.
Richard Dreyfuss is fairly
No,
active on
but
Twitter. It'd be
here's-
awesome if he's just like, I eat my pizza crust. I don't know what these people are talking about.
Just defending himself. I have no idea what those guys are talking
And we'll
about.
be like, you didn't tag any of us, you pussy, and then we'll just drag him intentionally next
Excuse
time.
me, Mr. Dreyfus, what's your position on pizza crust?
Yeah,
The world really wants to know.
The
Yeah.
world wants to know.
yeah. At least
No,
four
no.
people do.
You got to censor it with
Possibly paid.
Yeah.
Sicilian vampire. Makes no sense.
Oh dear
Every
Lord.
fucking fuck you, Ted. Fuck you,
Oh,
Ted
yeah,
Adams.
sorry, are people lobbing questions at us or anything, or is just a lot of
No,
like, you
what-
guys peaked an hour ago?
No, what happened was I was looking
Everybody
on my
stopped.
phone,
Okay.
and if you don't make it like super public, the comments won't come through.
Oh, is
So I
that
was
right?
looking what was going on, and we had an audience throughout this whole thing.
Did we really?
But the comments weren't coming through.
Oh.
We had Levi.
Patterson?
Yeah. Angela,
Levi.
Kevin Strumnick, Paige, Mark Lamb,
Mhm.
Alan
Oh, Mark.
Price. Yeah, we had a lot of people watching.
Nice.
Actually. And then,
Were they encouraging this nonsense?
yeah, pretty much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Tonight's
Well, thank you
show
guys.
sponsored by Lady Death, Liquid Death.
Lady
Liquid
Death.
Lady Death. Oh, great.
That's
No,
something
someone made the comment in the thing. I'm like reading all the
else.
comments
Okay.
now.
It's like Lady Death meet Ted Adams. Or not.
Meet
Why
Sicilian vampires.
There's a lot of overdubbing I need to do in this goddamn show. Damn.
Even
I thought
Angela-
cutting the waxing special was going to be rough.
Even Angelique was like, "Oh, we're talking about Teddy Boy again." That was at 12:27.
Wow. Holy shit.
Oh, you're
That's
going to
awesome.
have to DM her this episode. Like this is,
She's asking, "Can we have the whole unedited version, please?"
she can for sure. Which again, someone's going to
Yeah.
put Ted Adams in bubble wrap. Anybody named Ted Adams is going to be put in bubble wrap until probably forever, just in case. Because
This
If
this
anything
lives in
happens.
infamy
Because we
forever.
spent 2 hours
I mean, it
talking
will.
about
This-
him
yeah.
and pizza crust.
Because this
4 idiots.
this goes down in history even worse than the
Missy
the
Kunkel.
Missy Kunkel debacle.
I was waiting for an opportunity. You know what? I have not brought her up in a year and a half for that reason. I was like, I'm waiting for Mike to do it, but I knew you were going to go. So
Missy Kunkel. How
Missy
you
Kunkel,
doing, baby?
which- I honestly was going to make that entire video clip. Maybe I'll do it during the hiatus. You guys can keep an eye on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel where you're watching this, or if you're on the Shared Universe channel, look up Cape Pod. You'll find it. An excellent story Mike shares about his. It was your first crush. I'm trying to remember the exact context we talked about.
She was
There was
my
a lot.
first girlfriend.
First girlfriend. That was it. Okay. Excellent story. And we couldn't specifically find her. Mike has such an excellent poker face that at one point there are 3 results on Facebook from Missy Kunkel, and Mike has 0 reaction. He clicks on all 3 profiles. His face does not change at all. And I'm like, damn it, I don't even know how to find this woman and reach out to her. Just for sheer curiosity. But there we go. Mike's lawyer signed off on it, so it's okay that we mentioned her
You
by
were
name.
fine.
Anyway, yeah, you're fine, Missy. It's okay. Ted, not so much. Anyway.
Ted, you were never fine to begin with.
Ted, you can suck a bag of cocks.
Yeah, apparently, because we don't know you, but these guys are
Yeah.
not vouching for you.
I have no idea who are you were talking about.
This take on a real Donnie Brasco. Like, you vouch for this guy? left. I said I
Fuck
knew him.
no, we don't.
Yeah, apparently. So there he is now.
There he
pulling
is.
up.
Pulling up again.
Just a lot of
He's
baseball
got
bats.
a gun rack
sticking
on
out.
the back of his truck.
It's getting very Bronx tale in the streets of Red Bank tonight, and we're gonna
Come on, guys.
So yeah,
As soon as you idiots turn those lights down.
yeah, exactly. I'm waiting for Ted Adams to walk up here with a bat. No, you can't leave. It's like, oh,
You
shit.
can't leave.
We are walled in. Now what are we gonna do? Oh my God! Well, listen. Thank you, viewing audience. We're glad you guys enjoyed.
Thank
We're glad
you so
stayed
much,
up.
guys. That was fun.
Thank you for having nothing better to do on a Saturday night than hang out with us, because we've had a hell of a
Because
lot
we
of
have
fun.
nothing better to
And
do.
we hope you have
Exactly.
too. Yeah, we've got nothing. I mean, they should be sleeping. Is frankly
I
what it
should have
comes
been
down
sleeping
to.
5 hours ago.
Yeah. Well, all right. You did work a full day today.
Yeah.
I'm just I got up this morning to go to therapy. Update on that. I'm still fucked up. But otherwise, yeah, I had a pretty free day to make notes of shit we weren't going to get to tonight anyway. So that's what I do with my day.
And now the correspondence. What did we not get to today?
Well, that'll be saved for the fall run, everybody. Maybe we'll get to it. Or I'll just
Someday.
record it at home and I'll do, yeah. Stay tuned.
Chris just rips his phone in half.
Maybe yeah. I'll just throw this in a.
Yeah, we're just never going to get to any of this shit.
I'm just
So I'm
gonna
going to
throw
rip
this
my phone in half.
in the fire pit in my backyard. Just be like, forget it.
He's
You
gonna
guys are
wrap,
never gonna hear this
He's
shit.
gonna wrap some people in bubble wrap that are on his list. Like, oh shit, can't do that.
The Mike Zapsik fuck you list.
And
It's
if you
going
want
away
that list,
forever. It's not even
knock at the secret stash.
It's not even at the cloud. That's right now. Anyway, well, listen. Stay tuned. Next Monday, Cape 230, the waxing special. It is a must watch. I'm sure listening to it is going to be excellent as well. It's going to be a whole different experience than just watching it. So obviously the audio will go out first. The video will go out later in the day. And it's excellent. Again, if you're new to the show, comedian KP Burke, co-host, one of two hosts of First Class Second Place, Jason Enrique, and our longtime friend, Jack DeFranco, who frankly needed the waxing the most. And we've been waiting for this opportunity for 12 years to get him waxed on camera for the first time. It finally happened. We fulfilled a promise we made such a long time ago. And it was worth every dollar I spent.
Yeah. And
it was worth it. And
it
then
came
some.
out clean.
It was an unforgettable experience watching it happen too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not in favor of body waxing? Is that right? Never done it? Never gonna, right?
Yeah, I'm never going to.
Okay, gotcha. Well,
I'm not that
you
hairy.
either?
I'm out.
Fuck no.
Wow. It's not that bad. See, I've done it in case anybody's wondering if you're unaware of the episode. I mean, you got a week until it comes out, but I've had most of my body wax at different points. So that's why I was just like, well, I've done it. So if these guys are willing to do it, we're going to make this thing happen. So I don't get waxed. Maybe we'll do another one day.
You've gotten your nuts waxed?
I've not gotten the groin wax. That's the only thing I've not had waxed in my lifetime. But everything
you did
else,
say just about every point.
just about everything. Yeah, it's
I'm
like
like,
the
all right.
groin. No.
On another episode
That
of I
is-
Know Far Too Much About Chris Abalo.
That is maintained. No, I maintain that on my own.
There's
The groin
a-
is maintained on my own. Everything else, though, the taint, the crack, all that stuff, it does get maintained by professionals. So
on another episode of I didn't want to know that about Chris Abalo.
talking about okay, you were busy watching Sopranos on mute while we were doing this, so you probably didn't hear any of this commentary. But you will next Monday. But the waxing special, it's hysterical. It's a lot of fun, and again, it is the mid-year finale for Cape, and the show will be returning in the fall. So this run of 10 went by really, really quickly. And in my head, when Mike volunteered to do a midnight live stream from outside the secret stash,
Yeah, please check that out, folks.
Yeah,
Check it for me.
go back to 221 if you haven't heard it, or even if you have, go back and watch it again. You'll hear him suggest this as an idea, and I say, "Sold, we're going to make it happen."
I'm such an idiot.
I frankly thought that this was going to be the mid-season finale, but the wax thing took longer to coordinate, and it was well worth the wait. So it'll be quite a finale. And updates on the hiatus. I'll tell you the plan for what's going on in the hiatus. So stay subscribed to everything because there will be stuff put out there. But that's your teaser for next week. That there will be things put out in the meantime to maintain your interest and keep you entertained. Because at this point, 229 episodes in, there's a lot to pull from. So stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, if you've enjoyed everybody's nonsense, you can follow Mike on Twitter and Instagram at Michael Zapsik. And of course, Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, 65 Broad Street, Red Bank, New Jersey.
Come and see us.
Yes, follow them on the socials as well. Okay, I did get a text message. I want to see if it's relevant to what we're talking about because Christian has been monitoring the comments in the way he should. Oh, sorry. Now, funnily enough, it's a message from KP Burke, but it's not related to that. He's not watching
It's
this now.
from Ted Adams.
But how funny. It's from a guy who claims to be Ted Adams. We'll find out later. But we'll see if there's any weight to it. He says he's waiting for us, but I don't believe so. Keep the camera rolling. But you can follow Mike and follow the Secret Stash. Come visit the Secret Stash at 65 Broad Street in Redbank, New Jersey, and visit them on the web as well. You can buy all kinds of tchotchkes on what's the web address for the
Secret Stash stuff.
Okay, secretstashstuff.com.
Yeah, Secret Stash stuff.
Apparently, you can follow Ryan on Twitter and Instagram at Taxonian, and for his beer adventures, Honey, I Drunk the Beers, and for his toy adventures, Hot Toy Time Machine. Him and the aforementioned Jack DeFranco sharing their undying childhood and lots of nostalgia as well on Hot Toy Time Machine. And links for everybody, of course, going to be down in the description below, but I'm saying it anyway. You can follow Christian. First of all, subscribe to his YouTube channel, Arcade Productions. You can follow him at Arcade Player One on Twitter and Christian Cortez on Instagram. And you're the first one of the 3 people to be on TikTok. Is it Arcade Productions on TikTok?
Yes.
Okay, Arcade Productions on TikTok. Follow that. You can follow me on Twitter and TikTok at Chris Aballo, and on Instagram at Chris Sells Out and Cape Pod. You can follow the show on all the socials. And again, if you've listened, if you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button, give the show a thumbs up, give it 5 stars wherever you get your podcast, thumbs up on YouTube, all that good stuff. If you liked it, tell 10 friends, and you will then prove how smart and intelligent you are and be like, listen, I have good taste. This is really funny. And they don't do this often, but this is a starting point for you. And why not start with this episode? Been a lot of fun. It's wild. Yeah. Got some Cape stalwarts here with us. Good time. And next week would be a good time as well. So stay tuned for that. Gentlemen, thank you for doing this. Another insane
fun.
idea. Yeah, that was, again, somebody else brought up, not me, but I was willing to see it through. Followed by another insane idea next week. And I was going to say we will see you then, but I will see you then. Stay tuned for that. So until next time, for Mike, Ryan, Christian, this is Chris Aballo, and this was yet another experiment. Hit the dump button.